Ani khone ukupela ko Northwest. You can't sing. Nicula isiXhosa. Hayi ninganditest. Ninganditest. Oh, bless me now, my Savior. I come to bless me now. Oh, bless me now. Bless me now. I come to, oh, bless me now. Oh, bless me now. Oh, bless me now. I come to. Thank you very much. We are going to start with our meeting. But as we are starting, we are going to ask Honorable Sukers to open for us with a prayer.
Let's bow our heads. Abba Father, as we come before you in the name of Jesus, we thank you, Lord, that this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice in it and be glad, Lord. Father, as we come together as stakeholders, parents, Father, organizations, we pray, Lord, as we speak on this bill, we pray for your will to be done in South Africa, in education. We pray for the Lordship of Jesus, Father, to be established in our country. It is our desire for your name to be exalted, Father, in South Africa. Lord, fill this place, Father, with your presence, with your Holy Spirit. Speak to every heart. Let every voice, Father, that speaks, let it be heard, Father, in the name of Jesus. You give wisdom to rulers, and we pray that you will give wisdom to this committee, Father, that they, Lord, will hear the hearts of your people. In Jesus' name, we exalt and praise your name. Amen and amen.
Thank you, Masukers. Thank you, Siyabonga. Eita Northwest, eita. Eita Rustenburg, eita. Eita Bujanala, eita. Thank you very much. Let me now, at this point, ask the acting executive mayor of Bujanala Platinum District Municipality, Councillor Ramokhadi, to welcome us.
Thank you very much, the Chairperson of Portfolio Committee on Basic Education, Program Director, members of the National Parliament present here, members of the Provincial Legislature, Executive Mayors and Mayors present here, Speakers, Chief Whips, Councillors, officials of government in all three spheres present, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Education is central to the success of a whole range of human endeavors. Our own reconstruction and development effort, the renaissance of the entire continent, and our successful interaction in the global village depend largely on the progress we make in educating our population. In South Africa, Chairperson, the challenges are real. The majority of our children, especially in rural provinces, still either do not have access to basic education or depend on institutions that lack the teaching equipment needed for effective learning and teaching. The most prominent reason for non-attendance of school in 2001 and 22 included illness, disability at 22.7, poor academic performance at 21.2, and lack of money at 19.6. Reasons given for dropping out of school differ by gender, especially for females who have to stop attending school due to family commitments at 13.4%, while close to 5% of males stopped attending because they had no interest in education. The school dropout rate is of that particular concern because students who drop out of school prematurely will experience a lack of access to higher education, fewer job opportunities, and lower wages than their peers who have finished their school. And according to the report, the 20-year-old age group is the largest group attending tertiary education, followed by 21-year-olds at 20.4. By the age of 24, close to 8% were attending tertiary educational facilities, with close to 90% of the youth not in education, which is a very, very big margin. The Basic Education Law Amendment Bill should address this challenge effectively. The power of education extends beyond the development of skills we need for economic success. It can contribute to a nation building, reconciliation. Our previous system emphasized the physical and other differences of South Africans with devastating effects. We are steadily but surely introducing education that enables our education to exploit the similarities and common goals while appreciating the strength in their diversity. As the aspiration laid out in the Constitution to establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and human rights cannot be achieved without prioritizing education. Improving the quality of life of all citizens and freeing the potential of each person cannot be realized without education at the center of our efforts. We have to look beyond issues of labor absorption alone and into what are the best ways to open up new paths for employment and self-employment. This starts with the developing skills for modern and dynamic workforce through basic education. The legacy of colonialism and apartheid has entrenched spatial inequalities and poverty, creating systematic exclusion and requiring Parliament to continuously amend legislation to respond to the changing conditions. To community members, as we are the ones who know our children best and who is ultimately responsible for the education of our children, our voice matters. Whatever experience with schools and education has been thus far, we have an opportunity to fight for what's best for our children and the millions of other youth who deserve access to multiple excellent educational options, curricular approaches, providers, and support. Education is no longer in the hands of schools and teachers alone, Chair. It is in our hands. It may feel terrifying, frustrating, and deeply challenging, but it is also incredibly exciting. There is hope for a better education. Conversations around creating legislations that will support innovative education solutions for children in rural areas, children in poverty, and children with special needs. Our schools must be places that are free of corporal punishment, sexual abuse, gender-based violence, racism, and substance abuse, amongst other ills of society. Just as education fights inequality and poverty, improves the nation's health outcomes, and contributes to economic growth, investment, and in-quality education extends beyond learning itself. Building resilience and promoting success in basic education is a firm foundation for economic growth, social progress, and tackling inequality. Freedom of education in the best interest of children is more important than ever. So with those few words, members of the National Assembly, I would like to welcome you, members of the community, welcome you to the home of tourism, Bojanala, and I thank you.
I really buha Mayor Ramajuro, Siyabonga. Did you let me acknowledge you? The DG of Basic Education is here. Just know that, or he's here. It's his home province. Town, no? Oh, it's his home province, so he's here to check whether I am support or I am support people of Northwest. So we are acknowledging you, DG, and of course, everyone that is here. I am going to ask Honorable Yabo to chair the session for us today. Moving forward, we are in Northwest. This is the third province that we are doing these public hearings. We will do all provinces of the country. So we just also give members of the committee an opportunity to chair these sessions. I'm going to allow Honorable Yabo then to chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Let me greet everyone. Dumela. Lekai. Good day. How do they say good afternoon in Afrikaans? Goeiemiddag. We are pleased to be here. I'm going to try and be as quick as possible in order to save time. There's a lot of people here. The turnout is actually great. So what we're trying to do now is I'm going to allow members to introduce themselves, and I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves from my immediate left right through to my far right, which is the opposite in your case.
Dumela. My name is Ronnie. My father's name is Muratsetla from Limpopo in South Africa. Deployed into this 6th parliament, the 6th administration by the African National Congress, and further deployed to serve into this all-important portfolio committee on basic education. And I thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Suela Elvis, a member of the 6th Parliament and the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education, deployed by the African National Congress from the province of Mpumalanga.
Dumelang. Good afternoon. Dumelang bokoni bophirima. Nna ka leina ke nna Nombuiselo Adjones. Ke tswa teng ha Northwest ha ko Dr. Kenneth Kaunda district ko Matlosane. So nna ke tlile gae. Ke rumilwe ke mokgatlo mogolo o busang go emela ko parlamenteng ya bosetšhaba mo portfolio committee eno ya basic education. Ke a leboga.
I am Bongiwe Mpingo Kikawa. I'm the chairperson of the committee from South Africa.
Dumelang bagaetso. Nna ke nna Sheli Mokgotho. Mo bojanala fa ke fo gae ke fo lapeng ke gorogile. Ke tswa ke le ko Moses Kotane ko Mogwase. Ke nna leloko la parlamente. Ke rumile ke mokgatlo wa EFF o emelang batho le ditshwanelo tsa batho gore ke tle ke tlo ba emela mo portfolio committee ya basic education. Ke a leboga.
Goeiemiddag Noordwes. My naam is Marie Soekers. Ek is van die Weskaap. Ek is 'n lid van hierdie portefeulje komitee. En ek vertrou om die stemme van ons mense te hoor hier vandag. Baie dankie.
Good afternoon, everybody. Goeiemiddag. Dumelang. Molweni. My name is Baxolile Nodada. I'm a member of parliament serving in the National Assembly. I was elected there by the Democratic Alliance, and I'm deployed to the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education. Thanks.
Dumelang. Goeiemiddag. Good day. My name is Tebo Kholitsie. I'm a member of the National Assembly in Parliament, serving in the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education, deployed there by the biggest organization in South Africa, the ANC.
Thank you very much, members. My name is Bafuze Yabo. I'm a member of the National Assembly in the 6th Parliament. I'm a member of this Portfolio Committee on Basic Education. I'm from Gauteng. I'm deployed by the African National Congress, the oldest liberation movement in Africa. Now, without much ado, we are going to do some housekeeping to set some basic rules of engagement, how we are going to manage these public hearings. Seeing that we are dealing with a large crowd, I'm also informed that there are other people also waiting to come in, and we are a full house. So the first thing we are going to request is that those who are going to speak, who are going to make their submissions, once you've made your submission, you can exit the hall so that we are able to create space for those who are still outside. And secondly, the rule for everybody is that you are only allowed to speak for 3 minutes. You will only speak once. You can't speak twice. And everyone that we will identify or note for speaking, you will be required to come occupy the chairs in the middle. So there are chairs here in the middle. I realize that the hall is quite hot. I see everyone is fanning their face using paper. So it will be better that we try and move with speed. Those who want to make their submissions but would not want to do it through speaking, you can fill in a form which you will get at one of our tables, the staff table. I will introduce the staff now and acknowledge them. There's a table on my right, there by the wall. I think there's also a table at the back. You can get a form, fill it in. When you fill your comments, also write your ID number, so that you are able to be identified. We are here with the staff from Parliament. We will not introduce them one by one. There are quite a few, as well as from the Department of Basic Education. I'm going to ask them to rise and wave to all of you. There they are. The gentleman in front here is the Director General of the department. I would like to acknowledge the presence of local councillors who are here, ward and PR councillors. If you are present, please stand so that we can acknowledge your presence. Thank you very much. We also would like to acknowledge the presence of the provincial legislature. If we have members of the provincial legislature in our midst, and members of the provincial department, kindly rise to your feet so that we can acknowledge your presence as well. Going once, going twice. There you go. Thank you very much. Just to give a brief introduction, without going too deep, on the 15th of December 2021, the Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill was referred to the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education for its consideration. Now, Section 59, subsection 1, paragraph A of the Constitution of our country requires that the National Assembly must facilitate public involvement in the legislative and other processes of the Assembly and its committees. Now, in response to that, the committee is now doing public hearings all over the country. This is the third province we are visiting, 3 weeks in a row. We started off in Limpopo, we then went to the Free State, now we are in the Northwest. We are going to cover the length and breadth of this country. Now that we are here, we would like that each speaker that is going to speak introduce yourself and then state up front whether you support or you do not support or you partially support the bill before you enter into the body of your submission. So it's your name and whether you support, do not support, or partially support, and then get into the body of your presentation. You only have 3 minutes, so use it wisely. We will interrupt you rudely if you overstep the 3 minutes. But bear with us, we're trying to manage the time. I'm going to start taking hands. I am going to take, let me say up front, I'm going to take 3 rounds of hands, all right? To accommodate the size of the attendance. And I'm going to start taking hands from my left, which is the right in your perspective. So I'm going to start taking hands this side for the first round. Can I get hands? I saw the hand there, the back number, that's the first hand, so you can start coming. As I point you, start coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the back, yes ma'am. 6, yes. I noted 6 hands. Any more hands? Oh, 7, 8. I noted 8 hands for the first round on the block to my left. Do we still have more chairs? Okay, I have space for 5 more hands. Let me get hands. 1. Any more hands? Any more? Okay. Okay, those of you who are taking forms, take 1 form for yourself and fill that form for yourself with your ID number. Don't take bulk, all right? And then when you submit, there's only 1 ID number. Just take 1 form, fill it for yourself with your ID number, and take it back to the table. Those who prefer to write than to speak. All right. I am going to allow those that we have noted from this side in the first round. Yeah, I will believe everyone. She can start, ma'am. You can start. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Good day all. My name is Ilse Edwards. I'm the Ward Councillor of Ward 15 in Rustenburg. I'm from the Democratic Alliance. The DA has the following concerns of the bill. The BELA bill will remove the powers of the school governing bodies to make decisions about language and admission policies for the schools. The BELA bill will also be used to target mother language education, especially Afrikaans schools. The Constitution protects the right to the mother language education where it is reasonable, practical. The DA strongly defends and seeks to extend the right where parents wish to exercise it. Schools and communities must keep the power to decide what is best for their children. The department should only intervene if there's evidence that a school is using a language policy to discriminate against learners. The BELA bill gives the department the opportunity to abuse the powers and to discriminate against learners, to undermine the right to mother language education. While the DA supports proper admission appeal mechanisms, we reject the notion that school government bodies are forced to appeal the heads of education departments against unfair, damaging policies imposed upon schools by those heads of department. The document needed to register learners are excessive. The High Court could find that schools could not exclude children if they did not have all the documentation required. The BELA bill undermines this right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next one.
Good afternoon. I'm Armand Viljoen from AfriForum. I am against this bill, or we are against this bill. The BELA bill proposes significant changes to the way education is governed in our country, and there are several reasons why we should be concerned about this. Firstly, the bill seeks to transfer decision-making powers from school governing bodies to provincial head of education. This means that more power will be centralized in the hands of the state, and we, as parents, are opposed to such centralization of power. We believe that local communities should have the say in how their schools are run. Firstly, the bill Secondly, the bill provides the head of education the final authority to decide on the school's language policies. These policies will have the broader community, which effectively means the end of Afrikaans schools. This is deeply concerning as it infringes on the rights of minority language communities. Thirdly, the bill will result in communities losing their say over entry requirements at public schools. This could lead to fuller classes and poorer quality education. We believe that local communities should have a say in the admission policies of their schools. Fourthly, the bill gives provincial head of education the authority to merge schools, combine the governing bodies and assets, as well as determine new names and addresses for the merged schools. This takes away the autonomy of the local communities and undermines their ability to decision-making of their own school. Lastly, everybody in the country has interest in education, and we all want the children to receive the best possible education, and the BELA bill threatens and undermines this. In conclusion, the BELA bill is a cause of concern. It seeks to centralize power, infringe on minority language rights, and take away the autonomy of local communities. We urge you to oppose this bill and to stand up for the rights of local communities and the future of education system. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Next one.
Hello, I'm Councillor Jean Kaiser. I'm a councillor in the Rustenburg local municipality. We as the DA object the bill. Curbing SGB powers. The DA believes that communities know the needs of their schools better than the politicians. The BELA bill undermines communities and seeks to centralize power and education departments. With the BELA bill, the minister can decide how many members at SGB of a school with special needs may have and how they are chosen. The head of department can use the BELA bill to dissolve SGBs, and the school will have only 2 weeks to appeal. That's not acceptable. Public response. Parliament received more than 18,000 written comments already. A third have already been analysed, and 89% of the written comments want BELA bill completely rejected. 6% objected to some parts of the bill, and only 35 submissions supported the bill.
Can I interrupt you, Councillor?
Yes.
I'm going to request you to not go into the statistics, all right? Because it's not yet audited, neither is it verified. So, but you can move into the body of your submission. Just leave the stats alone. Thank you.
Okay. Online and blending learning. The BELA bill does not regulate online and blending learning. Since the COVID lockdown, this type of learning has become popular and should have been included. Sexual abuse in schools. The BELA bill fails to provide enough protection for learners that have to attend disciplinary hearings in case of sexual abuse cases where learners are often victims of adult sexual abuse. The BELA bill ignores the real issues in schools. It has no regulation that will solve the following problems: dropout, lack of resource regarding teachers, classrooms, schools, libraries, laboratories, ICTs, infrastructure, and much more. Safe infrastructure. There are many schools that still have pit toilets, mud classrooms, depleted buildings, asbestos roofs, and no water. That's a basic right. Poor quality teachers. Teachers are not qualified to teachers in their subjects, and that happens in quite a lot of the schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one.
Good afternoon. My name is Bernard Visser. I'm a SGB member of Hoërskool Rustenburg. We're a FETSAS member, and we're against portions of the bill. Portions that we think need to be amended: clear definition of meetings, extension of Section 9 of the Schools Act, expulsion of learners, formalizing and establishing national and provincial consultative forums for national public school governing body organizations. There are portions that we do support. I want to stipulate some: the requirements of compulsory education in grade R, the possession, consumption of sale of alcohol in schools, uniform and national measures governing the election of members of governing bodies. But there are certain sections that we feel needs to be amended, and we're against that. So, first of all, the disclosure of financial interest by members of a governing body. We're of the opinion that the proposed disclosure would constitute an unreasonable invasion of the privacy of both the governing body member and his or her family. I want to point out, Clause 14 proposes the insertion of Section 18A 4A, which will compel all members of a governing body to disclose on an annual basis all his or her financial interest and the financial interests of his or her spouse, partner, and immediate family members. If we look at other organizations pertaining to what needs to be disclosed, neither the Companies Act nor the Public Financial Management Act requires such an extreme and detailed disclosure of interest by a member of an accounting authority. A member of an accounting authority is only required to disclose to the accounting authority a personal financial interest in respect of a matter to be considered at a meeting of the accounting authority or a board. The proposed amendment may very well deter some parents, quality parents, that can actually make a difference from making themselves available to be elected to a school governing body. I'm just going to point out which other ones we're concerned about: the governing body's powers concerning the admission policy of the school, the governing body's power concerning the language policy of the school, and the SGB's power concerning procurement. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one.
Good day, my name is Jochie Swanepoel. I'm a parent from Potchefstroom, and I'm partially against the bill. I just want to mention here the section that I want to speak about is the governing body's power concerning the language policy. The power to determine a school's language policy vests in the SGB. In terms of Section 6.6, subsection 2 of the Schools Act. Now, Clause 5C of the amended bill proposes to amend the Section 6 of the School Act by adding subsections 5 unto 20, which seeks to limit the governing body's power to determine the school's language policy. Now, as stated above, the requirement of the HOD to approve of a school's policy conflicts with the scheme of the Schools Act, which envisions a cooperative partnership between the governing body and the HOD. The requirement of the HOD's approval of language policy creates the same difficulties as the proposed changes to Section 5, subsection 5, requiring the HOD's approval of the admission policy in both instances. In both instances, the delicate balance of power giving effect to the cooperative governments is distributed in favor of granting power to the HOD. And I feel that this is very important to highlight, that we're moving back to faults that we made in the past. To force schools, for instance, to give schooling in certain languages, to propose different languages of education within schools, that the HOD might not be in touch with the parents, the community, or the culture of the environment or the school. So this is a very, very dangerous, and I feel that language is a very sensitive subject in South Africa. We've gone through many struggles in recent past regarding only language. So this is a very tender point and a very serious point to address. The proposed amendments significantly signify an intention to increase authoritarianism and a reluctance to respect, protect, promote, and fulfill the values and provisions of the Constitution. The power granted to the HOD to direct the SGB with regard to language policy creates the same difficulties as the HOD having the final authority to approve the admission policy. That delicate balance of power giving effect to cooperative governance is disturbed in favor of granting power to the HOD. But what we are in favor of, or what I'm in favor of...
Thank you very much. 3 minutes
Thank you
is
very
up.
much.
Next.
Good afternoon. My name is Patso Mohapi, a parent from Madikwe, Moses Kotani. I will say I'm partially supporting the bill. The reason being, I've got 3 issues that I'll mention quickly here. I would like to submit that if the subjects can be taught in our mother's tongue, maybe that thing it can improve the performance of our kids in our schools. And the second one is the issue of transport. The initiative of transport that I was with the belief that the department was doing the good initiative of helping the communities, poor communities. But for now, it seems like it's no longer being good monitored, because the guys who are given that opportunity, they are now misusing it by involving the taxis, not the buses anymore, in transporting our kids, whereby in our communities, rural areas there, we even lose the lives of our kids there. The last one that I will submit to you is that the school governing bodies of our people, I believe that we got the young guys now who are willing to assist our schools in the school governing bodies. But really, it is really a shame to see that there's nothing that is being dealt with in terms of remunerating those people. Because if we take our young guys and involving them in our school governing bodies, but not thinking about anything as a stipend or remunerating them, they will start to be the puppets of the principals in tampering with our monies in our poor schools. So really, I would like the government to look into this, really into that. I thank you.
Before you start, I would like to request that those who are submitting forms kindly do it quietly, so that we minimize the noise levels coming through from the queue. Also, those at the far back, there's a lot of interaction. Just quieten down. Will be done in a short while. Thank you very much. Proceed.
Afternoon. My name is Patricia Gabaipone Lobotse from Moses Kotane, Lot 21. I'm a youth committee. I support BELA bill, which seeks to enhance the organization insufficient of the basic education system to improve school governance and leadership, accountability, transforming an education service, and protect vulnerable groups to ensure learners' well-being and success to learning. Thank you.
Next one.
Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, all stakeholders, my fellow Rustenburg citizens, I am here as a grandmother. I am speaking on behalf of my grandchildren. We are all concerned about the BELA. At this stage, it is a draft bill. But I think we all realize that at some stage, this will not remain a draft. It will, in actual fact, it will be proclaimed. This bill will go through. But I do want to ask you, our concerns, if we raise them, are you really going to take them to heart? We are concerned in Rustenburg, there are only up to about 5 Afrikaans medium schools. There are many Setswana schools, there are many English medium schools. We are concerned about our culture and our Afrikaans speaking children. We are also concerned about the whole community, but we are more concerned also for our children in our Afrikaans medium schools. So we just want to ask, with the BELA that is going to be proclaimed, if it is going to be you are going to take it through Parliament. We are just concerned now. Will the whole face change? And then, of course, the main concern is the powers of the governing bodies, because that will also ultimately restrict them. And, of course, the fact that the religion and language goes hand in hand. So we are pleading with you to take it into consideration. And then lastly, I'm going to finish off. I think my time is out. I just want to ask you that the document that we were handed says here that if you have written submissions, it has to be before the 1st of April 2022. Do we still have time to come with our written submissions, or is it too late? This document says, and you can look at your date, 1st of April 2022. So it's already too late. Or can we still make our presentations, written submissions? So those are my concerns. Thank you, and God bless you, and we pray for you, because we want this to be for all South Africans, to work for all of us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your 3 minutes is up. Next one. Ma'am, you forgot to tell us whether you support or you do not support, or you partially support the bill. You do not support. Come and say it in the microphone.
I do not support the BELA bill.
Thank you.
A child
No,
of 12.
it's fine.
A child of 12.
That's all. That's all.
Cannot go for an abortion.
That's all. That's all. Thank you. Next one.
Good afternoon, committee. Valdette Gray. I'm here in my capacity as a parent and also as a member of the governing body of Laerskool School Vastrap. The school is also a member of FETSAS, and we oppose the bill. We are not in favor of it. Specifically, there are many sections which we do not support, but specifically Section 5 and 6, the proposed amendments to Section 5 and 6 of the Schools Act, which takes away the governing body's ability to decide on policies within their own school. If the head of department will be able to have the final authorization, it serves no purpose for the governing body to make those policies. Also, it goes in contravention with our constitutional right to basic education in our own language. There are many other schools in our provinces. As indicated previously, there are only three remaining Afrikaans primary schools within the Rustenburg area. Also, while we are glad that the grade R's will now formally form part of the school, it is very unclear what they will be doing there. How will you accommodate them in an already overcrowded schools that we currently have? What is the plan with them? Will they simply come there and attend school but not have any education? Where will they sit? Then there's also the insertion of clause section 4A, which deals with the punctuality and the obligation on the governing body and the principal to ensure that the pupils attend the school. While that is a great concept, how are you going to enforce that? What is the sanction if a principal or the governing body does not attend to same? I see many people, many children late for school in the mornings while I'm on my way to work, and nothing is being done with this. This will merely be another act written on paper that is not enforceable. That's it.
Thank you very much. I think we are moving. I am going to come to this side and take hands. 1, 2, Mewatuku, 3, Datwa Kepse, 4, Datwa immediately, 5, yes, 6, Datwa Kepsimo, 7, Kumurau Kwana, green top, 8, Mama, yes, Klongwan. Any other hands? Any other hands? 9. No, but you are coming from this side. No. Let's have order, please. 9. Any other hands? Any other hands? Remember, guys, if you filled a form, you don't have to speak. If you speak, you don't have to fill a form. You can't have them both. All right? We have 9 hands. Let's move.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Willie de Villiers, Provincial Chairperson of the South Afrikaans Onderwysunie in Northwest. We partially agree with the BELA bill. Thank you for this opportunity. The SOE would like to reaffirm our commitment to the advancement of quality public education. We fully support no unfair discrimination on the basis of race, gender, or any other arbitrary grounds. Based on the proposed BELA amendments, there is now only one dominant role player, and that's the state. And I would like to refer to number 1, the admission policy. Section 5, subsection 5, gives the HOD the final authority, and this is not acceptable nor constitutional. I refer to the Rivonia Primary School case 2013. 2, language policy. Section 6 declares that the HOD may approve language or amend and return to the SGB with such recommendations. This basically gives the HOD the right to veto. The HOD may direct a public school to adopt more than one language of instruction. This also is a right to veto. And I refer to the Constitutional Court judgment, Hoërskool Ermelo and others, in 2010. Our formal proposal that we retain Section 6 with regard to language policy in public schools, and has passed constitutional scrutiny. Then also to avoid litigation, the voting power, the veto power of the HOD opens doors for constitutional consultation. School capacity. Any school reaches a critical point when it must be regarded as full. Objective criteria for this purpose is required. Regulation 9 of the minimum norms and standards for public school infrastructure is abused. I would then like to move to contentious amendments. Section 9 and 10, learner discipline. The rights of educators and the silent majority of learners requires attention. We agree with the prohibition of corporal punishment. Section 20, unilateral utilization of school facilities. It's unacceptable that the local district office may be allowed to control the utilization of school facilities. And then section 21(3)(a), compulsory centralized procurement. The centralized procurement of PPEs during the COVID-19 period graphically illustrated this danger. The SOE would furthermore like to propose a new governance model. The current model has been in place for 26 years. Many public schools are examples and comparable to the best independent schools, and section 21(a) status should be proposed to these schools. Thank you, Chair.
very much. Next one. Can we have someone from the sound team on hand to adjust the mic for different heights? Tswela pele, ma'am.
Nna ke Matsapa Mabula go tswa ko Ward 29 Moses Kotana municipality. I support the BELA bill, which seeks to enhance the organizational efficiency of the basic education system to improve school governance, leadership and accountability, transforming education services and protecting vulnerable groups to ensure learner well-being and access to learning. The legacy of colonialism and apartheid has entrenched a partial inequality and poverty, creating systemic exclusion and requiring Parliament to continuously amend legislation to respond to the changing conditions. I support all the clauses in the BELA bill because they will address problems amongst others, deteriorating learners' school performance and dropping out through clause 3, which call for enhanced monitoring of school attendance by educators, principals and the school governing body, and the addressing misconduct in schools through clause 9, which clarifies what constitutes an act of serious misconduct by learners. The bill addresses challenges regarding learner access to quality basic education, as some schools deny learners admission. The bill will address uncertainty about home education legislation through clause 37, ensuring all learners are registered and their interests are protected by legislation and the department in critical. The bill seeks to improve SGB members' accountability through declaration through clause 14, enabling the head of a department to investigate school financial records and limiting SGB powers where capacity is inadequate in an intervening provision to support schools through clause 17 on the withdrawal of one or more functions of SGB and address challenges which vary per school. The bill empowers the head of the department for equality access to school, and the inclusion of diverse South Africans in the schools is critical for social transformation. SGB's powers to determine the school's language policy are critical with the approval of the HOD to ensure inclusive school policies as stated in clause 5. The bill enhances the management of undocumented learners to ensure such learners are assisted as per clause 4. This requirement is critical also to protect learners. The bill provides that school attendance is compulsory from grade R, which will improve learner preparation and resource support for grade R learners. I support the BELA bill.
Thank you. Next one.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Johan Benson from the Federation of School Governing Bodies. I'm the Deputy Provincial Manager. We partly support the bill. We do not support the power to determine the admission policy. The power to determine a school's admission policy vests in the governing body in section 5.5 of the Schools Act. Clause 4D of the bill proposes amending section 5.5 of the Schools Act by introducing a provision which seeks to limit the governing body's power to determine the school admission policy. We do not support Clause 5C, the governing body's power concerning the language policy. The power to determine the school language policy vests in the SGB in terms of Section 6.2 in the Schools Act, Clause 5C of the bill proposed amending Section 6 of the Schools Act by adding subsection 5 to 20, which seeks to limit the governing body's power to determine the school language policy. The first substantive change introduced is requirements that the SGB submit the language policy and any amendments, therefore, to the HOD to be approved. Clause number 34. In terms of provisioning, amendment of governing bodies must submit the head of department within 30 days after end of each quarter, a copy of the quarterly support of all income and expenditure in accordance to the directives issued by the head of department. FETSAS does not support this proposed amendment. Then we do support the requirement compulsory of education in grade 3. Clause 2A is set to make grade R compulsory. It is a necessary step for early childhood development and in line with the Department of Social Development's National Integrated Childhood Development Policy. However, it clearly is needed on compulsory school going age, and that must be supported within the Schools Act. Then the uniform and national measurement governing body to be elected of members of the governing body, clause 19, empowers the minister to promulgate uniform and national measures governing to elections of members of governing bodies. FETSAS fully support this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one.
My name is SP Sebayeng. I'm from Madikwe, the school called Soagodimo. I'm challenging this bill. I'm partially agreeing with this, especially the sections that says to provide for centralized procurement of identified learning and teaching support material for public schools, simply because it's 2 years that my school now did not get, it was budgeted for, but did not get the A4s or the photocopying papers. So the school is suffering because of this centralized procurement. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Andres Creer. I'm a parent and a resident of the local area. I reject this bill based on the following points. I do not agree that a school language cannot be decided by the governing body. I do not agree that placement should be taken out of the hands of the same body. I do not agree that the code of conduct should be taken out of that same body. Similar for decisions regarding religion, culture, and use of facilities. And then lastly, I also strongly disagree with the loose extension of powers to the minister as stated in the last portion of the bill. Then I would also like to make a few general comments, and this is to add on to what our regional mayor, apologies if I get it incorrect, the mayor talked about. Schools is a feeding ground for an economy and for business, and I do not want to talk about language or color. Let's talk about successful and unsuccessful schools. So successful schools and all schools fundamentally should be feeding a community and an economy. And should you start tampering with effective functioning schools, which is highly possible should this go forward, you would effectively be cutting off the lifeline of the economy, the business of that local economy. So future businessmen and workers of all nature will be affected in their abilities and their skills. And so I think it's not a matter of color or language or religion or race, anything. It's about having functional, effective schools. So instead of tampering with these functioning, successful schools, in the 29 years that we have not been able to get non-functioning schools functioning or get them to the same level as top-end functioning schools, let's rather focus our energy on getting those schools up to standard so that the bulk of our country and all learners of all skin color and all language can have successful, proper and good, sound education. I just want to also finish off by saying that even though we want to propose in this bill that we want to control religion, for example, schools is there, well, actually on all points, schools is there for a community, serving a community, and ultimately it should be managed and governed by that same community and not by someone external that is not in touch with that community. Thank you.
Next one.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Rapula Joseph Piri. I'm from Ward 35, Moses Kotane Local Municipality, under the leadership of Councillor Lucky Pito. I like to start with I fully support the bill. I have a brief presentation by Railway View Development Forum based at Unit 8 Mukhwase in Moses Kotane Local Municipality in the Bujanala region of the Northwest Province. As an NPO, we are NPO anyway, with keen interest in the well-being of the poor of the poorest and the vulnerable masses of our community, we hereby wish to put forward a notification to our honorable parliamentarians and government in general. Unit 8, commonly known as Kosporo in Mokhwase, is like another place in the periphery or in the desert, as it is indeed deserted by the powers that be. Fact is, Unit 8 community is being and is growing day by day, and it's constituted mostly by the poor, unemployed people, and some families are child-headed, while most are single parents, mothers with no income. The above reasons simply declares most indigent and disadvantaged in terms of the needs in general. The area with more than 1,000 households with highest number of registered voters in Moses Kotane, local municipality, with highest number of school kids in Mokhwase, don't have even one primary school in that. All these poor kids are ferried to far schools at a cost, while almost all are traveling on foot to school on daily basis because their poor unemployed parents can't afford monthly transport fees. Because of the above, other kids end up banking.
Thank you.
Sorry, sir.
Thank you. Time up.
My time is up?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Piri Liseho from Manzere Village, Moses Kotane Municipality. I partially support the bill because I didn't get through the whole bill, but what I would like to address is that the school curriculum of our villages are limiting our learners. Most learners are gifted in other areas, sports, but there are no sports equipment. So I would like to address that for our government to provide sports equipment and other equipment for our learners in such schools. All villages included, and any place the learners require the sports equipment, because most learners do not make it in life, because we were given physics and life sciences, those things that are not, some of us cannot perform, and some learners might be a Ronaldo, a Messi. So if this bill can provide such things as sports equipment for our learners, to sponsor them and take consideration into their talents and respective gifts, then I will be grateful, and we will vote for our government to reign again. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one.
Mipone Elapowe from Ward 32, Moses Kotane, under leadership of Akem Pilane. I support the bill. I'm gonna be short and precise. Nekere di SGB because kolondis kedi na programmed by the principal and the teachers. Baba tlogele mo di ba site mo di kopanong tsa bana ba rona because of we are facing gore bana ba rona ba they are still under kgatelo ya the white peoples. Another thing, nekere this kind of event, it should be also practiced ko di rural area litla le tlo bona gore bana ba rona ba under kgatelo go le kanang ke lebogile.
Chair, thank you very much. My name is Gugule Tumchali. I'm from Moses Kotane local municipality. I'm a councillor and a speaker of council. Number one is that I support all the clauses in the BELA bill. I think they will address the problems, among others, deteriorating of learners' school performance and dropping out through clause 3 as indicated in the bill, which call for enhancement monitoring of school attendance by our learners, and also by educators, principal, and school governing body. And it will address, amongst others, the misconduct in schools through clause 9 as in the bill, which clarifies what constitutes an act of serious misconduct by learners. The bill, Chair, I think it will also be able to assist us to address the challenges regarding learner access to quality basic education, as some schools deny learners admission, especially schools in township. The bill, Chair, must also address certain about home education legislation through clause 37 to ensure that all learners are registered and their interests are protected by this legislation, and the department is critical in this regard. The bill also must also improve SGB members' accountability through declaration through clause 14 as indicated in the bill, and it must enable the head of department to investigate the school financial records and limitation of SGB powers where capacity is inadequate is an intervention that needs provision to support schools through clause 17 on the withdrawal of one or more function of an SGB and address challenges which vary per schools. The bill, Chair, must also empower the head of department for equitable access to schooling, and inclusion of diverse South Africans in schools is critical for social transformation. SGP's powers to determine the school's language policy are critical with the approval of the HOD to ensure inclusive school policies as stated in clause 5. The bill, Chair, must provide that school attendance is compulsory from grade R, which will improve learners' preparation and resources support to grade R learners. I so move to support the BELA bill with all my heart. BELA bill must be supported and must be implemented as a matter of agency.
Next one.
Ta ke leboge. Ki Goodwill Monamudi Serobatse, go tswa ko Kgetleng municipality mo location la Reagile. Ke ema fa ke re ke lebogela gore di tetlebo tsa dintsi di le teng mo nakong tsotlhe o ka re di bone dikarabo tsa tsone. Re lebeletse grade R go fitla ko grade 12, ma grade R mo nakong e fetileng le barutabana ba teng ne go na le bothata bo bontsi, mme ke bona o ka re go ya ka bili dilo tsotlhe di tla tsamaya ka tolamo. Sa bobedi ne ke batla go bua le ka corporal punishment e tlhakantse le di dangerous objects mo dikolong di sa le ba le di drugs. Ga ke itse bokgakala ba puso mo go tsone gore bo kana ka, mare ne ke kopa gore boetapole bo bo tlileng fana bo e atlanegise gore go tle go lebelwe dikolo e seng ka di tlhofela la semowa mme go nne ka senama ka ntlha gore ko dikolong ke tswa ko location le ke tswang ko go lone re na le high school e bitswang Mphebana High School e setse e changile lebitso completely le ka sheko ke solofela ke tlo kry-a report e tswang ko teng ka ntwa e diragalang ko teng le go sa tsene sekolo le go lwana le matitšhere le di-drugs tse di dirisiwang mo teng ka go rialo ne ke support-a nna ka bokhutshwanyane bonnya ba ka ke gore ke support-a bill ye wholeheartedly so ebile ke re modimo a ne le lona ke a leboga.
Santlane ke rata go dumedisa leina la ka ke nna Baleseng Tube.
Ntshwarelaganyane mme kopa o ntshwarelaganyane ke kopa translator a translatele setšhaba sotlhe. Okay, proceed.
Good day, Chair and honorable members. My name is Mr. Goodwill from Khetling region in Reagile Township. I would like to say that I'm very glad that, see, it seems like my complaints that I've raised have been answered with this bill, because we have a lot of issues with the grade R's until grade 12s. More so with the grade R's, it is a problem. So I think that this bill will address the issues that I've been complaining about. Another thing, the second point is with regard to corporal punishment. I think that it should be brought back. The reason being that the drug use has escalated in the schools. For example, if you go to our township, but there's a high school named Mphebana High School. It's got so many problems, more so with the children misbehaving, non-attendance, fighting with the teachers, and of course the drug use. So in that way, I will say that I would like to support the bill wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Santla ke ne ke rata go dumedisa ke nna Baleseng Tube ke tswa ko Moses Kotane local municipality ko Ward 15. I'm a ward committee member and a parent. Now I'm here to support the bill because the bill addresses challenges regarding learner access to quality basic education, as some schools deny learners admission. And another thing, I would like the committee to go and look after the villages that doesn't have any school, so that they can provide them with the scholar transport. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm now going to come back this side. This is now our second round of hands. Let me see your hands. I saw the gentleman with the glasses, number 1, the gentleman behind him, number 2, the gentleman with the red cap, number 3, the gentleman with the powder blue shirt, number 4, there's a hand right there at the back, blue top, yes, number 5. All right, I suppose that's number 6. Number 7, Mega Kepisimo. Any more hands? Yes. Any more hands? Any more hands? Going once, going twice, going 3. Number 8. Okay. All right. Number 1.
Good day. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to reject the BELA bill, specifically section 37, which I believe infringe on my privacy, child and parental rights.
Meneer,
Sorry.
name?
Nico Fourie.
Yeah, first start with the introduction,
Okay.
then whether you support, not support, and then to your presentation.
Thank you. So I'm Nico Fourie. I'm a home educator. I'm from Potchefstroom, and I'm not in support of the BELA bill in its current format. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to reject this BELA bill, and specifically Section 37, which I believe infringe on my privacy, child and parental rights, as well as the rights of my children to be part of a preferred educational curriculum, educational pace, or educational path that align to the child's interests and strengths. My wife and I have been home educators for 14 years and part of a home education community that is multiracial and have 3 wonderful children in line with, and we've been educating our children in line with our religious beliefs, their interests, their strengths, based on a Christian educational curriculum that covers reading, writing, language, debate, mathematics, science, logic, history, geography, presentation, and reasoning skills. Home education is backed by extensive evidence that it is in the best interest of the child and that the outcomes are superior to that of other educational systems. We adopted this approach to ensure that our children can adapt to the rapidly changing world that we live in and that they get the best education so that they can act in an ethical and moral manner. The BELA bill is not considered for these educational research options, and they should research more widely. We object 7 points. The bill is impractical. Public Education Department doesn't have the capacity to adequately register and take care of home educators. Home visits are an invasion of our privacy and could be open to corruption. Registration and not notification. Why must I register and after 60 days I'm automatically registered? What happens? I mean, why not just notify you or have no notification? Violence and abuse in schools. Violence, rape, abuse, bullying is rampant in our schools. And I don't support my kids being in a school that, conduct them to that type of behavior of abuse. Monitoring. Who's going to monitor the curriculum? Must caps be enforced onto my children? Will the people be adequately educated to monitor my children? I don't think so. I think the parent is the best person to make that decision and ensure that their child, as well as the community, monitors them. Expensive assessments. Who's going to pay for the assessments? We don't have money for our own country. Who's going to pay for these assessments? I mean, we don't have money for it. You don't have money for it. Educational landscape. Home education offers the child a path that gives them the best opportunity to focus on their strengths, to focus on the education that works for them. I've seen this with all 3 of my children. They are beautiful, they are hardworking, they are self-educating. Thank you.
Thank you.
And they are here, by the way. Thank you.
Good afternoon, honorable members. My name is Mpho Robert Motsatsi. I'm from Ward 21, Moses Kotane. Firstly, let me say I support the bill. I'm a former teacher. As a blind person, speaking on people with disability, especially in our area, Bujanala district. I can hear that people are opposing this bill, really, because they know that in our rural areas, we don't have so much special schools. They are in towns. I've heard one speaker saying that he's afraid that the school will be meshed. Yes, they must be meshed so that we can get all equal education. So I do support the bill. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jacob Fuck. I'm a parent from Rustenburg. The school forms one of the most important parts of any community. We can all agree to that. I partly support the bill, but the biggest problem that I have is you are taking the control of the school away from the community in which it's supposed to function. We live in a democratic country where we vote for what we want. You are taking that power away from the parents. Now, I don't know who of you have kids and who does not. But those that do have kids, I want you to take 5 seconds and to say, your future from your child is being taken away. A person can pick up a phone and say, this school will now also have Zulu or Xhosa as a language, and you have no say in that matter. Just take a second to think about that. And then say to me that that is okay. Because that is what the bill provides. Let's get the kids in school, let's keep them in school, let's teach them in a language that the parents know the kids will understand. Let's get the drugs out, let's get the troublemakers out, and everything in South Africa will be better. We should not allow a single person the amount of power to rule over any school's choices and cut the parents out. Thank you.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Johan Kukumur and I'm a parent. I stand here today to express my strong opposition to the bill that seeks to further Anglicize education in South Africa. That means make everything English. As a nation that prides itself on the motto of unity in diversity, it is disappointing that this bill does not recognize the diversity that makes us who we are as a nation. Access to education in our mother tongue is a constitutional right, and it is through this right that every South African child can reach their full potential. The process of Anglicization education has been a hindrance to the success of our education system, as it has prevented many from fully understanding the material being taught in a language foreign to them. Moreover, it is contradictory that the government is continuously fighting for decolonization, yet all the arguments put forward in this bill are in the language of a colonizer. How can we decolonize when we continue to perpetuate colonial languages and culture in our education system? Let us not forget that schools are public schools, not state schools. As such, communities through governing bodies must be in the position to make decisions that is in the best interest of their communities. Under the previous regime, they were state schools, and we know that created disparities. We are not going to accept such authoritarian government rule ever again. In concluding, this bill is outdated and does not include the power of online education that can create equal opportunities for mother tongue education for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madume, greetings. My name is Polo Rangaka. As an activist at Democratic Alliance and within my ward, 119, Greater Buitukong area, Rustenburg local municipality, I present these remarks today in this hearing on behalf of those that could not be present, the Democrats who strongly support the promotion of a free and fair society. We are against a particular section of this proposed Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill where powers are to be handed over to the heads of the Education Department. And because we are in support of mother tongue education in schools, we are against this section of this proposed BELA bill. It's important to note, and I quote, schools and communities must keep the power to decide what's best for their children. The department should only intervene if there is evidence that a school is using a language policy to discriminate against learners, close quote. If, for example, within this proposed bill, Setswana, my mother tongue language, is that targeted language in schools, and the bill gets signed into law, most Tswana speaking people will be offended. Or if within this proposed bill, Afrikaans is that targeted language and the bill gets signed into law, most African speaking people will be offended. As an elected government, do not wish to control within schools everything while rejecting the role of parents and school governing bodies. And as leaders in government, please do not create an environment that could lead us into a social crisis because you are failing to understand what it means to be proud of your mother tongue language within a schooling environment or otherwise. Elected to unite this ever-divided nation, do not create another environment peace-loving South Africans do not wish to see. And no right-minded person can ever feel safe in a divided environment, especially when ignorant politicians choose to discriminate in school a particular language. As a nation, we have experienced enough in the past. We don't need this approach. Ke a leboga. Thank you.
Thank you. Greetings in Jesus' name. My name is Moses Poe, a councillor in this BELA city of ours. I stand here to submit on behalf of those who believe in the godly governments, ACDP. We oppose the bill, in particular clause 37, that amends section 51. This is the section on homeschooling. When the Department of Basic Education imposed comprehensive sexuality education and scripted lesson plan on school, Department spokesperson Elijah Mahlangu stated in the press that the only way parents could opt out the new CSE lesson is by sending their children to private school or homeschooling them. Parents took their children out of school to homeschooling them, but now, sorry, I've prepared in the phone, I'm disturbed by this call. People are disturbing me. I'm disturbed by those who don't know what I'm doing here. When the Department of Basic Education imposes comprehensive sexuality education and scripted lesson plan on school, Department spokesperson Elijah Mahlangu stated that in the press that the only way parents could opt out of the new CSE lesson is by sending their children to private school or homeschooling them. The parents then took children out of school to homeschool them, but now the department wants to force the CAPS curriculum on homeschoolers. Section 51, subsection 2 states that home education program must cover the acquisition of content and skills at least comprehensible to CAPS, and that the learners must be as these people are disturbing me, sorry. If children does not do CSE, they cannot be evaluated against CAPS curriculum. This clause will mean that homeschoolers cannot protect their children from the state CSE program. The BELA bill is being used to force learners to do CSE. I ask that this clause be removed and that the new clause be added that protect parents. Thank you. Thank you. I'm being disturbed by the people who are calling me because they are concerned about this.
Next.
Thank you, Chair. Greetings all. OM Mfanake Clive Ramokhadi, Kotswako Moses Kotane. I'm a Ward Committee member, Ward 24, under Councillor Nomvula Sekao. Chair, my stand is I fully support the bill as I see it is a step to the right direction. We need transformation. Transformation a change. So as a former SGB member, my experience in thutile gore mo dikolong go santsene go na le kgatelelo. Our SGBs ga ba recognize fully as a legal body. So that must now come to a stop. SGB must be recognized as a full legal body and then be respected ke di HODs mo dikolong. SGB e tshwentsene e bonale e bereka e skebe ya tshosediwa ke ope. So ke rata gore maloko a leng teng a SGB ba tie ke proposal gore a puso ya rona e ba tsenyetse sengwe ke bua ka gore at least ba nne le stipend nyana because ba bereka ba recognize. So the bill ke rata mo e buang ka gore e improve di powers tsa SGB e be e buele ka equality to the basic education e tshwentseneng e fuwe baithuti ba rona. Ga re lebella mo nakong ya gona nong go santsene go na le dikolo tse dintsi ga se tse dinnyane ke tse dintsi tse leng gore bana ba rona ga ba kgone go tsena mo go tsona ga ba kgone go kry admission mo tsona. The right of admission to those schools is reserved, particularly dikolo tsa di model Cs. Bana ba rona ga ba kgone go ile ithuta go dikolong tseo mo nakong ya gona nong ga ba fiwe equality e re tlhoka re go tshwantsene go nna le equality to all learners. So ke kopa gore this bill ga re ka e ema nokeng ke bona ile step to the right direction gore bana ba rona le bona ba tla nna le monyetla wa gore ba kgone go tsena mo dikolong. Ke buella dilo tse di dirisiwang gore re se ke ra nna le kgatlhego go di model schools. O ka re maleme a rona mo dikolong a ka recognize-iwa particularly bo Setswana bo Sezulu a diriwe mo dikolong tsena tsa di model Cs le di private schools so that bana ba rona ba ikitse ko ba tswang teng e se ka nna e barrier e leng gore nna ke le motsadi ke bona ile gore ngwana ke ga go botlhokwa gore a ile go tsena go sekolong sena. So ko bokhutlong ke re I really support this bill. A re amogeleng change is good bagolo ke a leboga.
Program Director, my name is Patrick Itumelensrole from Ward 7, Moses Kotwane, under the Speaker of the Nation, Gugudele Tumchali. Comrade, let me underpin that code to underpin this bill, that code, the late Mandela, he said, it is our responsibilities to break the barriers of divisions and to create the country where there'll be neither Tswana, Zulu, Xhosa, just South Africa free and united in diversity. Program Director, I'm standing here supporting the bill because where I'm coming from the rural areas. Well, last year our president, Matamela, was talking with my kids from Civic Primary School visually. So the thing that is needed here is that English, we say, it takes a village to grow a child. Gone are those days when you stay, we were just, what? From my Guga middle school, I got more than 7 doctors from the rural area. What do we need, comrade? Comrade, I underpin and support. Let me quote Unkopuzatiro, the late. He said, we black graduates, by the virtue of our age and greater responsibilities to liberate our nation, it is our responsibility to teach them and show them the truth. Let us support our rural areas. My program director, tell the minister, let the ink rain on the paper. Sign the bill. I submit.
Bagolo ba ka dumela. O emeng fa ke Mamletsane Maimane from Moses Kotane, chairperson ya ko Sedibelo Secondary School. Re supporta bili mme ke na le mabaka a mangwe fo ke ganang teng ka mabaka a latelang. Re na le bothata ba batswantle ba bana ba ba tsena mo dikolong tsa rona. Ba tlhaga ba sena di-documente tse di feletseng. Puso ga e ba support-e. Sekolo ke sona se ba support-ang. Ga se ba ntshetse tšhelete ya NSNP, ga se ba ntshetse dibuka. Ba tlisiwa fela ko sekolong go ntse fela yalo. Bana ba tsena mo dikolong tsa rona. Ngwana ga o itse gore a wa progressa or o ntse a ntse mo tlelaseng ka re gana di-documente tse di feletseng. Nna ne ke kopa gore ga ngwana a tla mo sekolong a bona di-documente tse di feletseng, no matter gore o tswa kae. Re itse gore ngwana le ga ka nna le mathata fo sekolong, o tlhabetswe eng ga a tlhabelwa eng, sekolo se mo thusa yang. Go a sokolwa ko metseng, bana bao ba tletse ko metseng, ba tletse ko metseng bana bao, mme ga bana di-documente ba teng mo dikolong tsa rona. So ne ke kopa puso gore molao o ba o lebelisise sentle wa gore bana ba tswang ntle ba ba support-a yang ko dikolong. Ngwana wa rona o ja 340 mo 340 eo ngwana o mosufa boja ba le babedi, dijo di a tlhaela ga ba sa je ke mathata. So nna ke kopa bagolo wa ka molaetsa ka mo telele mara ke a bona le nkutlwile gore na ke reng, ke a leboga.
Before you start talking, I just want to check with our marshals. I'll use the term marshals for convenience. Is there anyone else outside waiting to come in? Are they there? Yes, bring them in. When there are chairs that are empty, bring them in. We are now sitting on the second round of hands. We are left with the last round. So as soon as you see empty chairs, please guide them in. We are told that there are many people outside. All right, proceed.
Thank you. My name is Martha Laram. I'm a parent and a former ward councillor. I do not support the bill. Each community, each area, each town are different. That is the core reason why there's SGBs, because they know their community. They are chosen within the community. They are struggling with the Department of Education. There's no help there. So now it's going to be even much worse. Please do not change the bill as it is. While this money is being spent on public hearings and bill amendments, there are still children drowning, walking through rivers, going to school, and drowning and falling into pit toilets. Rather focus on that. Thank you.
Next. Thank you, Program Director. Largely thanks to the officials of the education for hosting such an event. It's very important and significant for us as community members to be able to have an input in whatever it is that is going to direct our lives. This guy standing before you, this little young man, is an NEC member of the current structure of Congress of South African Students. Ours is to simply, as always, champion the interests of learners without any favor or prejudice. So currently, what we are seeing in the amendment of the current...
Introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
Sorry?
Introduce yourself, name.
Thank you, Program Director. It's just that you stopped me whilst I was on that gene. But as I'm proceeding, thank you for highlighting it also. To those who thought that they didn't want to say who I am, my name is Koketo Machege. I'm from Ward 17 of Greater Moretele, led by the council that is led under George Matsango Manyiki. But as I'm continuing to say that, I fully support
as the Congress of South African Students, we fully support the amendment bill, no, the BELA bill to be amendment in the way that is presented to be amended. I'm saying to other community members, Uguti, let's not stop nor be the enemies of progress. Rather, be in partnership with the basic education to ensure that we collaborate and change our country and put it into the direction that we ought it to be. I was thinking, I was believing that many of our parents are going to come here and speak about the safety that is in our schools, to say, comrades, enough is enough. Our Minister of Education is safely guarded by 5 bodyguards. To me, which means the ratio of one person in our school. It means that whenever I'm going to a school, I must find 500 bodyguards in a constituency of 100 learners. To me, it means that five bodyguards for one person, since the ratio of the ministry. But then nonetheless, I will always be short like a Bermuda to say, comrades, let us prioritize education as the first angle of transformation in our country. Thank you, comrades.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Nkeko Litlape. I'm from Moses Kotani, Ward 26. I'm a ward councillor. Firstly, I would like to say, as members of the African National Congress in Moses Kotani, we do support this bill. I will then allude on 3 sections that I will be quoting. Your section 8A, subsection B, where it says, no person may bring liquor into public school premises or have liquor in his or her possessions or consume or sell liquor on public schools. We are sending our kids to schools to learn. We are sending our kids to school to have motivation. We are sending our learners to school to work together with their teachers. Now, if we are going to allow any person bringing liquor, sending whatever information or whatever message to our learners, it's totally unfair. Now, with this regard, with this section, I fully support. I will then go to section 9 and your section 9, number 1, subsection A, where it says, the governing body may on reasonable grounds and as a precautionary measure suspend a learner who is suspected of serious misconduct from attending school, but may enforce such suspension only after the learner has been granted a reasonable opportunity to have representation to it in relation to the suspension. Serious misconduct by a learner is defined by the following, all of them. As I look into all these points, they are relevant, they are in order. Now, I'm also supporting your section 10, where it says no corporal punishment, corporal punishment is abolished and no person may administer, inflict or impose corporal punishment at schools or to a learner at the school during a school activity. By so saying, I support the bill.
Next.
Thank you all. My name is Obakem Molife from Rustenburg, Ward 6. I'm also the member of the Federal Executive DA Women Network. I'm standing here before you all on behalf of women out there who are not even aware that today we are all gathered here taking the decisions of the schools in rural community and elsewhere in this country. So I am against a particular section of this proposed basic education law amendment, of which I believe the powers of the parents have been taken off them. I don't think the department can take the decision of the parents without parents being involved. So I think the Department of Education must involve the parents to work together. And then this thing of saying parents, teachers, and school children must come together, it is the beginning of this. When we say, that's why I'm standing against this bill, and because I am supporting my mother tongue language also, which is Setswana. And then it is important, very important to listen to this. Schools and communities must keep the power to decide what is best for our children. The Department of Education must only intervene where it is possible, especially where there is a language policy, especially against discrimination. For example, within this proposed bill, Setswana language is being targeted in schools, and the bill gets signed into law. Most Setswana speaking will be offended. So that's why I say I stand against this bill. I thank you.
No, thank you very much. We are now coming back to this side. I'm taking hands. 1, Boke. 2, 3, cap. 4, 5, 6, pinstripes. I'll call it pinstripes. 7, yes. 8, white shirt. 9, Mama wadi sunglasses mo. I want to see if we still have chairs left. How many chairs do we have left? 3. Let me go to the back. German. Selassie. Dato la kwa. Kumaraho. But why Atila? Why Atila Strata? Okay, let me come here. Yellow hat. Yellow hat, yes. Last one. Okay, you can start.
No, thank you very much. My name is Batsi Baselebaleng Moatludi. I'm the site steward of Clove Waters Primary School site. And I'd like to begin by saying that whatever that we talk about now, may we please take it seriously, because the Parliament came before in Civic Center discussing this land expropriation without compensation. We did not get the feedback. We just got the result. And unfortunately, that result is against what the masses of our people said in this gathering. So, to guard against that, as a site steward, I saw that I should make this written submission, make evidence out of it, so that whenever I cannot perform my duties and I am victimized, whoever is victimizing me, I should refer them to you. The first one is regarding procurement. Just yesterday in Bujanala, SMTs and accounting officers, they went to a financial management workshop. I don't know why was there a need for such a workshop, but I will tell you as in my presentation, why was there a need for that workshop. So the parliament needs to make new laws whereby at least these schools have a procurement officers whereby they will be given request forms so that whenever a school need, maybe for an example, a laptop, because we type question papers and everything, that procurement officer must know that this laptop has a lifespan. We are using outdated laptops in quintile 1 schools. In fact, some of us, we perform miracles because we submit these question papers without a laptop. So one will wonder, how is that possible? The second thing is support system for learners. The parliament must make it compulsory for a school, especially in lower quintiles, for them to have a social worker, coaches, and a law enforcement officer that will be stationed in that school. Because not having such in lower quintile schools is unconstitutional. In no manner whatsoever is the parliament trying to correct the injustices of the past. Sorry, and then appointing an agency for curriculum.
Time is up.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know about the time.
There's 3 minutes.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. It's 10 minutes.
3.
Or 3 minutes, sorry, I didn't know about the time. I apologize.
No problem.
And then about appointing an agency is the last point.
If it is.
Sorry, is the last point.
Okay, for the benefit of those who just entered the hall, ne? And I think it's my mistake, let me go through the rules once more. Every speaker has 3 minutes to speak. Okay? When your 3 minutes is done, we will indicate that it's done. Kindly allow the next person to speak. Just 3 minutes. All right. Next speaker, please. Oh, hang on. Come. Do you support, do not support, or partially support the bill?
Due to the current capitalistic tendencies of the government, I reject this.
All right. Next one.
Program Director, I greet you, protocol observed. My name is Reverend Mahlakwana Miriam. I'm from Putanang Primary School in Retlakgona Seket in Madibeng Education District. As well, I'm representing PEU Professional Educators Union and Pensifike District. I am supporting the bill, but now I've got other concerns pertaining to the bill. The safety of the educators in schools. I'm becoming very worried pertaining to the safety of educators and learners. I would have loved actually to see something whereby it put more emphasis on the safety in terms of whereby, in terms of procurement as well, we engage other sectors or our counterparts whereby we get maybe fences to tighten the security. Because right now we are told that if I'm an educator, if something happens that the parent comes and slaps me, I must walk away. But someone is forgetting that before I become an educator, I am a human being. So I'm told that I must run away. I'm asking that if only this can be tightened. You find in the same classroom, a learner who is the same age as my child, is slapping me, and the very same learner, I'm going to minister to him in church on Sunday. Where is my dignity? Where am I protected or not? We are fearing to go to the school. The learners that we are supposed to develop holistically, we are afraid of them. Where are we going? And pertaining to the corporal punishment, I understand that it was abused in the past, but now, what is happening to our children? Let's face the reality. Our children are dropping out Because even in the Bible, it says that don't spare the rod. What are we saying with our children? Are we leaving them like that to be the hooligans that they are today? The Nyaupe takers like they are today. As a teacher, I'm concerned because the mistake of a teacher is when we have hooligans, when we have juvenile delinquents, and that one of a doctor is when someone dies. I thank you.
Dumela Chair, my name is Ismay and I am from Hartbeespoort. I represent the homeschool or home education section. So I want to say hereby we reject Section 37 of the BELA Bill. The BELA Bill used stringent regulations to make home education impossible with no basis in research or collaboration. Section 37 infringes on the basic human rights of us as parents to choose the best suitable education for our children. It also infringes on our religious rights to choose which religion we want to teach our children in. Each of our children learns differently and at a different pace. We use different curriculums for each of them and we follow their pace. We feel that the freedom of accountability should be implemented, but giving the parent the freedom to choose the curriculum and the assessment tool. CAPS-aligned assessments will ensure that we can't educate our children, for instance, in IEB or Cambridge or anything in that like. There will be also no room to grow their interests, their hobbies, or even their entrepreneurial skills. Enforced home visits also infringe on our rights to privacy, and one specific measurement of a good learning environment can't be enforced on all. No learning looks the same. Not everyone can afford a table for each child or has the space to set up everyone. In our case, we do have a space. But learning takes place around the kitchen table. There we discuss, we reason, and we explore. Some of our children are kinetic, and they need to move to learn. A table and a chair won't help with their education. We do feel that Section 37 is set up to create a lot of administration and therefore burden the parent administrational-wise and financial-wise so that home education will virtually be impossible. We propose that new legislation be drafted by the DBE for home education that reflects the realities of this education sector. I thank you.
Thank you. Next one.
Ke a le dumedisa kgotla. Ke mono ke le Gielboe mo naheng Tusi. Ke tswa ke le Lehlabile ko Madibeng. Ke fano bagolo ho lebogela monyetla o hore ke be kgone ho tla ke tshwaele mo peong molao le tlhabololo ya molao. Ha jwale dintlha tse ke di badile ke di assessitse tsohle di le 56. Ha ke di lebella tsohle ho ya ka tsamaiso ke tse lefapha lona le tlang ho rona ka tsona re le baagi. Tse ding tsa tsona partially ke dumellana le tsona, tse ding tsa tsona ga ke dumellane le tsona. Ke tlotla mo lebakeng lena ka hore ke batla ke tletle ke nne mokhutswane ka hore ge he le hore go a dumelesega ka hore lefapha le tlile fano ka hore molao o tswelletswe pele. Tletle re kgone go bona morago ga molao o re tseletsa thuto pele yang. Mme fela lebaka la ka ke hore thuto ya rona e phutlhame bagolo. Mafapha le ona a phutlhame ha re baagi. Gantsi ha re tla mo tirilong ya thuto ke ra hore bagolo thuto is an essential service e leng hore mainly mo homo my heart get broken to find that my child doesn't have to go to school because of the protest. The teacher doesn't have to go to school because People are complaining about the service delivery. It's insane. It's insane. Because the departments are not doing good for us. Yet for now, partially, NAMA implementation is to say, we are a community. I am from a community. E leng hore community eo, e na le so many things tse leng hore di batla ho addressiwa. But we merely see you now. And then ha re bua ka public administration, re na le problem. Ha re tsebe hore e affectwa ke politiki kampo e affectwa ke individuals. Because ha re bua ka public administration, re ra hore mafapha a ohle a tlhomilweng a ise molaetsa go setjhabeng. Ha bjale ka dipalopalo re tlo dumellana le hore molao o tsamaiswe, empa setjhaba se saletse morao ha sa kgona ho tsenya ditletlebo tsa sona ka baka la di-resource e ra tlhaloganya. Mara a re utlwaneng hore ha e le hore ho tloga hana fano fa bo bohle re le lekgotla re le bjana re tshwaetse, e ntse e le maikarabelo a rena hape ho bona hore bana ba rona ba tswella pele. Ke maikarabelo a rona hape ho bona hore thuto ya sireletsega. Ke maikarabelo a rona hape ho bona hore sekolo ke 6 hours to be go apartmenteng ya sekolo. After mono sekolo se vague. Do you expect that school is safe? Do you expect that school is safe? No.
Ne ke kopa pele o tloga fao o re re gore wa itshegetsa bili e kgotsa nya.
Ra gore bili e tswelle pele.
Wa itshegetsa.
Ke a itshegetsa.
Ke a leboga. Thank you. Kopa translation ka pela ra translation.
Okay, translation. I would like to say that I support this bill. I am from Letlhabile, Madibeng. Thank you for the opportunity for us to participate in the implementation of this bill. I read all the 56 points of this bill. However, I agree with some and I do not agree with some. I will keep this short because I believe that the goal of this gathering is for us to be able to move forward in implementing this bill for our education. The first point is that the system has failed and the facilities are also failing in our schools. And in some instances, our children are unable to attend school because of the system where people cause strikes due to service delivery and cause the children to not be able to attend schools. I am representing a community that faces many challenges and wish that the government or the public administration would be aware of such and could work with us and assist us by giving us the opportunities to participate in such gatherings. Lastly, as we are gathered here, I would like to request that may our concerns be taken forward and attended to. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Makanani Mashasha, the principal of BELA Secondary. I support the bill. My challenge is with subsection 8AF, where we are talking about the paramount principle of protecting the child from harmful liquor. The challenge that we have is that in most schools, almost every corner of a school, there is a tavern. And we feel that the government is not doing anything about that. And as principals, even if you protect your kids, but after school, they will get into a tavern that is closer by. So we need to take charge, making sure that at least taverns are 5 kilometers away from the schools. And we are also talking about the safety of our learners. In most rural areas, there are no security guards at schools. Even in very dangerous communities, you'll find that there's no one. And it's up to the principal and the school community to protect the learners, which is mostly difficult. The government only responds if someone gets hurt. So we are requesting that let the distribution of security guards be fair. Rather than having one school with 6 or 8 security guards, we should make sure first that each school does has one before we can give others more. I thank you.
Dumelang bagolo.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry, hang on. Mommy? Principal? Did you state whether you support or not support or partially support the bill?
I did at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. We'll pay better attention next time. Proceed.
Dumelang bagolo. Kalina ke thulaganyo mabule ke ward committee ko Moses Kotane ward 33. I partially support the bill, but I at a point felt the bill is not necessary and it does not focus on the key issues that the education system is experiencing. I don't think changing of syllabus is necessary. We just need to amend the ones that we already have. The education system has gone far too long changing syllabuses, and what we have noticed is that the education performances of the student is currently deteriorating. So I don't believe the syllabus is the problem. I believe the implementation is the problem. Education, there's a lot of challenges that the educators and the students that are facing in schools, but those issues are not even mentioned in this bill. All that we care about is what language are we using, what curriculum are you using, but the educators themselves, as safeties are in jeopardy, but nobody seems to be caring about that. As a child of an educator myself, I have seen firsthand how brutal these kids can be in school. But none of that is been mentioned. The only thing that has been mentioned is that corporal punishment has been removed from schools. But the education system does not say in a point where we remove this is what we're going to be implementing. You have left the educators hanging. They have nothing to say that this is how are we supposed to be disciplining these kids, and whatever they come up with, you find at fault. Going forth, I believe that if we would focus in making the schools a better place for children, we wouldn't be sitting here debating whether we should be changing the curriculum or the languages in schools. We need proper materials in schools. We need better infrastructures in school. We need better classrooms. We need toilets in schools. Not what we are gathered here for. Thank you.
Dumelang bagolo ba me. Nna ke Rentsi mane ke motsadi. Ke Rentsi mane ke motsadi. Ke tshwengwa ke infrastructure ko sekolong. Ga gona di toilets tse di siameng. Ga gona di classroom tse di siameng. Re kry-a ditšhelete ka go lekalekana. While those disparities in addressing. You look at the provisioning aid department, you get 10% maintenance and banabasinya ko dikolong. Ba roba ba etsang sentse re di chelete di tse di shotang tseo. Re ba ka nya khabetsa. And now I would say to our representatives here, kgang ya provisioning e lebellwe thata. For example, 10% ya maintenance is not enough. Ga batsadi ba rona ka ko mageng ka kwa ga ba bereki. So ro dira yang ga batsadi ba sa bereki o le ka go raise di funds di satle. This 10% must be translated. Must be changed to 30% at least. Re kgone go etsa so se bonalang because re na le tshenye tse dintsi go dikolong tsa rona. Sa bobedi ke tshwangwa ke the absolute powers given to the HOD. Once we have the governing body, what is to govern, Kante? If to govern means le file thata ya go busa fo le tirela melao, re na le bothata. Bana ke ba tshore di drugs ba etsang le kry-ile evidence le a isa ko head of department ngwana wa boa fo sekolong ga gona di centera tse ka isong go tsona go rehabilitateiwa o busetswa gona fo sekolong a etsa tlhakatlhakano gona fo sekolong sentse re nne le ene once a le yalo re kopa gore puso e considere go builda di-structures go builda di-rehabilitation centers tse bana ba batla referelong go tsona go sa le bana fale ga re re bana ba kubiwe. The right of education e tla mentse tsholeditswe but ko centering e relevant for ngwano ga re na specialized di bui tse di feta fa di bua gore go tlhola ga teacher ke tloka full complement ya bana mo class ga ba sa fella ke bothata. Now ga bana ba sena ditilo ke tswa kwa Gauteng secondary mo go sena ditilo for ba ditilo tse di lekanang bana ba boletsega provision is made, the contingency plan is made, but bana ba tlhoka ditilo tse di ntseng sentle. Department se tse lebella kganya infrastructure gona no I'm sitting with a borehole SEO, so ke kopa gore borehole eo e tlo ba ka because sekolo sa tswa mo segare.
Re a leboga rra, nako e fedile. Translator. Re kopa fela re tlhalosetse gore wa support-a kgotsa nnyaa. Partly. Kopa tlo e bua for mic-eng fa. Re ska e bua on your behalf.
I partly support.
Thank you. Translator.
Thank you to have me.
Re kopa translator pele rra. Thank you.
I partly support the bill. My major problem that I have that is not being addressed, it is the issue of infrastructure. We do not have proper toilets, no proper classrooms. Yet we receive equal budget. The other problem is that the children will vandalize the infrastructure that we have. Then we have to fix over and over again. So that dilapidates the budget that we have. Now, I have an issue with the 10%. One, two. I have a problem with the funding that has been indicated here, which is 10%. I would like to suggest that we change it from 10% to 30%. Because if you think about schools where they have a majority of unemployed parents, where are they going to get the funding? So this should be considered with great thought. Now, another issue that I have, it is handing over powers to the HOD. And now, what's the use of having the SGBs? Because they are supposed to implement the authority that they've been bestowed. Because the children, they smoke drugs, you do have the evidence that we bring about to the department, yet the child will come back to school without being rehabilitated and cause havoc again when he returns to school. So if we do not have the powers as the SGB, there's nothing that we can do. I'm not saying that we should dismiss such children, because everyone has a right to education. But what are the steps that are going to be taken in order to rectify the issues that this child is facing? Another thing that is of great concern to me, it is a simple thing like seats. The children do not have seats. They don't have proper seats. They don't have enough seats. Some of them sit on the floor without chairs. So these are the issues that you should consider. Hence, I'm saying that I'm partly supporting this bill.
Next speaker.
Thank you. Ke tswa ke le Thabile from Ward 38, Madibeng. Ke represent batswadi ba Madibeng according to this bill ya BELA. Ke bona go le important go passisa bill ya BELA. Molawana o montšha o tsusitseng ke ne ke supporta 56 point ya melawana e. So sa ntlha se ke reng ke supporta molawana ka sona ke lebaka la di-migrant child, tse e le goreng re di fitlhela re bana le bana ba di-migrant mo dikolong le mo makeisheneng a rona. So, go botlhokwa go amogela ngwana wa leng destitute from migrant, ra utlwana. Go botlhokwa go mo tsenya sekolo because ka moso o tloga a batlega documente. So ge re mo kgapela ko ntle re sa mo amogele ka mogare ga sekolo sa rona because of us na di documente a re tlise change. So ke ka mokgwa ke bonang go le botlhokwa gore molawana o formiwe because of go na le bana ba ba leng destitute ba le gore batswadi ba bona ba bang ba handicap ga ba gone go tlhaloganya gore ba ka isa kwa ngwana gore a kry thuso ka ntle le go sekolong. So ke ka mokgwa ke reng ke supporta bill gore e passisiwe ka lebaka la gore ka moso e tlo gona go kry a way forward ya go solve bothata ba bana ba di migrant ba ba leng destitute. So it's why because re sa tlhaloganye ba bangwe it's because of re bone bothata ba di destitute ga re bone bothata ba di migrant. So but government yona e lebeletse number e ntši e ba ya amogela mo dikolong ke di migrant, and those migrant ba vulnerable ga bana sepe ba bangwe o kry-a le gore bo mama bona ba di destitute ga bana dijo, and then those migrant ba support-a ke dikolo. So le ka di documente ba tlo support-a ke dikolo. Please amogela molawana o gore o passisiwe se ka la nna popota because of se sengwe le se sengwe re bile ma South Africa, so re sena di document re bile di document ba bang because of ka di kereke di direla di document go di kerekeng. So now department e tla ka molawana o montšha wa go direla bana ba di migrant di document le nyaka o gana. I'm so thank you Mr. Honorable, thank you.
Before translating, Baholo, may I kindly request that when a speaker is on the podium, unless I say the time is up, don't co-chair with me. Please, let's respect the session. It's a session of parliament. When time stops, I will indicate to a speaker that his or her time is up. Let's not do that. Thank you very much. Translator?
Okay. I am from Lethabile, Ward 38, Madibeng. I am representing the parents of Madibeng. I support this bill because it is important. I believe it is important to pass this bill, and I read all the 56 points. I support this bill because it supports migrant children. I believe it is important to accept children who are destitute, even though they do not have documents, as many of them do not have much, and it is important to accept them as they are poor and come from destitute backgrounds. I would like to propose that we support and allow these migrant children in schools and allow the schools to help them with whatever they need, including documents. I would like to propose that let us, as this bill was brought to us, may we support it, because even us, we started without having much, and as they do not have much, I would like to propose that we support them. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Thank you, Program Director. I'm Pelisa Madlingozi. All right. Okay, thank you. I'm Pelisa Madlingozi. I'm the chairperson, SGP chairperson of Itiko Special School. I stand here for South African National Association for Special Education. I'm the member of the national executive there. It's an SGP association for special schools. I support the bill. We need to change. We used to have special schools, now we are having schools for the skills. Why I'm saying this? The bill just needs a bit of flesh on it. Firstly, starting with the memorandum of understanding with other departments. Can it be legislated that we have SAPS, Department of Social Development, Health, that we have an understanding to help us, firstly with health, assessment of our children. I saw on the bill that it is important that we take our children at a younger age for grade R. But now with special schools, it does not work like that. I only identify my child at a later stage. I don't know if he's having a problem or not. Up until I go for assessment, I take my child to a mainstream school to lower, to grade R or grade 1, and I see my child in grade 2, that no, this one needs to be at a special school. So that we are going to have a problem with, to take them at a younger age, because we cannot identify if they have to be there or not. My God, where's that? Okay, and another one, referral from special schools that goes to SASA or social development. I know that there's some time that social development was appointing social workers for special schools, but seemingly it's not practical right now. We look for social workers. So that is why I'm saying, can there be a memorandum of understanding with the sister departments for education? And then when I come to white paper 6 of, on inclusive education, the involvement of our children with other schools, it's still very pathetic because our children cannot play with the mainstream schools, learners. And you find that they don't have anyone to match with for soccer. They are standing there, they can't play with anyone else because those ones are for mainstream schools. So can we please be practical when it comes to white paper 6 and be realistic on it? Coming to capacity building of parents. You know, as parents, if you don't have much information or not informative about policies of the department, you suffer and you get pressurized and you feel intimidated and you think that you cannot do anything. We need to know more when it comes to curriculum of special schools. It's not only about those special schools that go to matric. There are SID, there are different disabilities that we have out there, and we are not catered and you're not capacitated. But you take educators and capacitate them as the Department of Education, but you leave us behind as the parents. Lastly, let us be concerned on the exit strategy as well when it comes to special schools. We are very concerned and we are legislating it on the BELA bill. But, okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Ke dumedisa kgotla ke Tumiso Komano buang local Madibeng. What two? Ke so ke tla sosobanya tsotlhe ke nagana re se ba boletse dilo tse ke tlo di bolelang gona no. Ke dumelana partially ke dumelana le bill. Sa ntlha ke dumelana le gore thupa itlosiwe go dikolong. Se ke se kopa mo parlamenteng ke alternative method o ma teacher a tsantse o berekise mo go treateng bana, because ke bona o kare bana ba na le power ya gore ba otle ba ruta bana, but ga rena molaotheo wa gore after 4 moruta bana a ire yang ka ngwana sekolo, because ga ka mokgoma ke molato and then teacher ya suspendiwa ngwana eno go ela mo sekolo. So ke bona e gatella baruta bana thata mo kgang yona ya corporal punishment. Ke kopa gape gore mo di special schools, because bana ba tsena go di special schools la ga go tlile ga awe ka selo sa se rileng, so o tlo tlhoka Department of Social Development go tshwana le di social worker janana gore di dile ka special treatment ya a special behavior ya ngwana go special school. Safety ya ma teacher le bana ba sekolo, because go ke tlhanko wa 2 bana ba tsena ka di drugs ka mo sekolong ebile ba tsuba banwa. Go tsero initiative ya gore ma teacher a thape batho from ko motseng ba tsadi ba bana, so go nna le bothata ba go searcha ge re searcha bana ga re sure ka kgang eo, that's why re kopa gore molao o ka re a tlhatlhela ona ke human rights wa go setšha bana, re kopa gore palamente e re tlisetse security ko dikolong tsa rona, because re tlola molao rona ka ge re setšha bana, go na le gore o tlo mo kgoma mo gong, and then ke criminal offense. Ke boela morago ka mafoko ao, ke a leboga kgotla.
Translator.
I am Mr. Komani from Madibeng. I'll just summarize because a lot of things have been mentioned by my previous speakers. A lot of things have been mentioned by the previous speakers. So one thing that I would like to say first is that I partially agree with the bill, amendment bill. I would like to encourage the department to think about implementing an attentive method of teachers in a way that they should be treating children. Because the Constitution does not say what measures should the teachers take when a child misbehaves. So they are left hanging. Since you have removed corporal punishment, they do not know how to implement discipline to children who misbehave, since it is not mentioned in the Constitution. And another thing that we have to take note of it is that when it comes to special schools, the way that you treat a child or discipline the child, it will be different to other children, because a special treatment should be given to a special child who is in a special school. One thing that I'm also very concerned about it is the security in schools, because the children, they bring drugs, and we have made a campaign as a community to search the students when they come into the schools. But now the question is, how do we do that? Because with doing that, actually we are breaking the law. What if you touch the learner inappropriately or in a wrong place? Then that means that you have harassed the child. So we need security guards to be stationed in the schools so that the schools can be safe and be a better place. Thank you.
You may proceed.
My name is Jabu Apane. I'm from Congress of South African School Governing Bodies. And I say, as Congress of South African School Governing Bodies, Northwest, we support the proposed amendment bill. While we cannot entertain each and every section, but for the mere fact of that now, there is an extension of section 6 with subsection 5 to 20, which gives clarity as to who has the final authority, as to who is determined to be admitted to the school. There is a confusion among us, especially among white people, that this amendment takes the powers of the SGBs. The amendment says the person who determines the language policy is still the school governing body. But in this case, the head of department has to look at that language policy, has to look at it as to whether it favors the broader community. In this case, the district within that school, within the district that particular school is situated. And also, it should take into account the language needs of that district, not only that particular community that hosts the school. Because before, the language policy was used to discriminate among, more specifically, black people. Black people. You will find that in Bujanala, the most spoken language is Setswana, but there is a particular suburb there with about 1,000 people that says we only take or admit Afrikaans or English speaking people. It is in Bujanala. Most of the people are speaking Tswana. Then those people will be discriminated. But in this case, the head of department will look into whether that language policy is fair. The only people who are having a problem with the language policy are white people. And now they want to take their children to home because but baba tubaya again agadi kolonga kere baba tla ba nkela ko hae and baba tle HOD again ka mo hae gore a tla check gore na ho etsahalang re support le section 37 ke a lebo.
Dankira.
Greetings. Greetings, everybody. My name is Mpho Marokwani from Moses Kotane Sub-Region 025. I fully support the BELA bill because they will address problems amongst others. Deteriorating learners' school performance and dropping out through class 3, which call for enhanced monitoring of school attendance by educators, principal, and the school governing body, and addressing misconduct in school through clause 9, which clarify what constitutes an act of serious misconduct by learners. The bill addresses challenges regarding learners' access to qualified basic education, as some schools deny learners admission. The bill will address uncertainty about home education legislation through clause 37. Ensuring all learners are registered and their interests are protected by legislation and the department is critical. The bill seeks to improve SGB members' accountability through declarations. Through clause 14, enable the head of department to investigate school financial record and limit SGB powers where capacity is inadequate is an intervening provision to support school through clause 17 on the withdrawal of one or more function of the SGB and addressing challenge which vary per school. The bill empowers the head of department for equitable access to schooling and the inclusion of diverse South Africa in school is critical for school transformations. SGB powers to determine the school's language policies are critical with the approval of the HOD to ensure inclusive school policies as stated in clause 5. The bill enhances the management of undocumented learners to ensure such learners are assisted as per clause 4. This requirement is critical also to protect learners. The bill provides that school attendance is compulsory for grade learners, which will improve learner preparation and resource support for grade R learners. I fully support the BELA bill. Thank you.
Now we are coming to our next round of hands, this side. Pink cap, number 1. Number 2, number 3. Ko morao kwa pampiri e tshweu a lo ka emelela buti ke no kgetha ka matso a ementse pele. White shirt, cap here, next to him, ausiwa ke PC, yellow hand, yellow t-shirt there. Oh, ulethe usitse next door, red. Wena no emelezi. Abuti wa ke PC. Yes. Do we still have a chair? Pelile. Right. First one.
I greet you all in the mighty and wonderful name of Jesus Christ. My name is Tato Bokhadzu. I go by Yami Mami Kohon Le Kohon that I go. I support the BELA bill and I'm from Ward 25, Bapong 2 under Moses Kotane. So Rona, we are asking that the government provides for us transportation for scholars. Also, Home Affairs to do annual vocal transports and IDs for our matric students. We also request that our kids be part of those that have technology. We are asking for Wi-Fi routers in our schools so our students can be able to do their researches and so they can move with times. Also, another thing is that our kids are dehydrating in our schools because there's no water. Can the government please provide water in rural areas, toilets as well, securities, not with knobkiris, because no criminal is afraid of knobkiris. Can we have security guards with proper whatever arms? Also, another thing is that we would like for our kids to stop being limited to just playing soccer, netball, and athletes. We ask that you introduce new sports like chess, whatever, so that our kids can just, be part of those people that are smart. I know there's no longer debates in schools, in rural areas, but we'd like for you guys to please introduce new sports in schools. We also ask that you provide pavements in rural area schools because our kids come back home dirty from playing in the soils, from dirty schools that are provided for them. And also another sensible one is that there is no disability schools in rural areas. Parents have to pay lots of money to bring their disabled kids to special schools in towns or suburbs where they have to pay a lot of money. So I have a solution that was used when I was in Hoërskool Zeerust. There has been detention rather than corporal punishment. I was thinking that should be something that could be also introduced. Ka lebogang Tate, ke utlwagetse. Amen.
Next speaker, please.
I greet you all. My name is Tepo Matli. I am a homeschooling parent and a member of Pestalozzi Trust. I reject Section 37 of BELA Bill. The realities of home education is that parents want to take care of their children from birth to the level of tertiary and further achieving their goals and dreams. Home education is in a sense that it has a lot of curriculum to choose from according to the child's best interests and needs. No one other than a parent would know that. We follow the child to drive their learning, and as a parent, we guide them rightfully and assess them daily. Home education means learning at your own pace at the comfort of your home, and it gives a child time to analyze and understand and to be able to solve better using their own thinking and not being afraid of others to laugh or make fun to demoralize his or her confidence. My son was very shy, and it was always a mission for him to go to school every day. It was traumatizing for me to see that and not being able to understand why and what is bothering him that much at school. I would ask him and he would just say it's nothing, but I could notice that there is a problem. After COVID-19 took its toll, I decided to research more about homeschooling, and I found it more effective, for the world is changing and so should we. As we homeschoolers, parents are different, and we want our kids to become better people in the society and not like hooligans in the streets with their future and dreams being destroyed. Home education boosts and builds the children's confidence and independence, and they blossom very well in front of our eyes. Now my son can hold a conversation with anyone and not being shy or afraid. He is free and exploring the beauty of growing up and being around the people who support him everyday life was learning, and we are happy. Thank you.
Afternoon, everybody. My name is Dikeledi Tangeni from Madibeng. Mine is to say yes to this bill. We fully support it because it will address our admission and language needs in the province. Thanks to the Parliament, this bill is long overdue, and I'm also covered by the inputs of the Congress of South African SGB. Thank you very much.
Greetings, everybody. Paul Mohale from Kachin Tabiso Secondary School, right here at Tlhabane. I fully support the bill. Mine is just to comment and request, as I'm requesting that our honorables to reinforce the securities at our schools, especially during the holidays and during the nights, and to work together promptly in January, so that we must balance the furniture as against overcrowding in schools, because most of the parents look for admission in January. The schools needs to be renovated. We know there's section allocated for that, but it's too little for that, for renovation and major renovation and repairs. We have single or child-headed families that need support from us at school, the community, as well as the country at large. Those learners need food, and they got it from NSNP. Then what about during the night? There are some students who are traveling more than 5 kilometers from school, so that they must have that NSNP without transport. Imagine in cold weathers, rainy days, and starvation. Special schools. Where's the future of these special schools? Can we focus on them? And there are primaries with whole school teaching. How about redirecting those learners who are taught wholeheartedly or in whole education to be redirected in a special school then, so that they must have the special needs to avoid these overage learners? Thank you.
Next speaker. Protocol observed. My name is Sanele, coming all the way from Moses Kotane. I have 3 reservations with regards to the BELA. The first one is that I think that the Department of Education needs to work hand in hand with the department which is issuing the licensing to sell the alcohol, because in the school we have problems with the tavern which are near the schools, whereby they disturb the schools. So now we need to check, we need to work in hand so that they can check the proximity of the tavern where they're going to open, so that they cannot disturb the schools. The second thing is that now with regards to the trend which is happening with regards to the safety of the teachers, the BELA is not catering for the teachers with regards to their safety. So they need to clarify that, but now what is it that they can do in order to protect the teachers? Because now what I feel is that now the BELA is only focused on the learners, while there's a trend whereby the teachers are not safe in the schools. Another thing is with regards to the cultural belief and whatsoever. There's a contradicting fact when it comes to the BELA and then what the SASMs is saying, because now the SASMs says that now when the learner has been absent in school for 10 consecutive days, the system will kick out the learner. Whereas now when it comes to catering their cultural beliefs, the learner will say that now the learner is going out to do their traditional thing for 3 months, and then the learner needs to come back to school after 3 months. And then now it becomes a challenge for a school whereby the SASMs kick out the learner, and then now it's become a challenge to accept the learner back to school. And then now when you try to explain that to the parents, then they want to show you that they know someone who knows somebody, and then they call those people, and then they come back to the school, gun blazing, they say that we must accept the learner, while the SSMs is saying another thing. I thank you.
You support or not support the bill?
For now, with this realization, I do not support the BELA bill.
Okay. Anyone else who's next to speak? Your name, and then state whether you support or you do not support, or you partially support the bill, and then proceed to make your input. Proceed.
Good day. My name is Vincent Tsapo Matlavane. I'm from Kheteng municipality. I do support the law bill. I'm here to talk on behalf of Kheteng municipality youth. We have tendency ya gore ra appointed the SGB ka gore motho o na le ngwana ko sekolong. We should consider youth as an SGB so that ba kgone go tla ka di-plan tsa ko sekolong. And re sa consider youth e ntse e leng gore e na le 10 years le mogare. We should consider youth e tswa mo sekolong from grade 12. Ke bone ba tshwantseng ba consider because ba itse sekolo se ba tswang mo sone ba itse gore se tlhokang. So re ka se tlhophe motho e leng gore o na le 50 years wa bereka o na le mmereko wa tshwanetse o etse ko sekolong re na le mathata e leng gore a tlhoka SGB immediately. Bone ba ntse ko bone ba na le personal issues, so ba tshwanetse ba tla ka moso issue e le gore anong e setse e disappearile. So a gona na le nako ka yona, and le finance ya school e tshwanetse e considere ko SGB. SGB tshwanetse itse finance ya school tšhelete e tsenang le e tswang, and re tshwanetse re notice SGB ko sekolong re nne le office ya teng. Bana ba tswang ko Kheteng ba tshwanetse ba itsisiwe SGB. Ha ba introduce ma teacher ba introduce le bana ba SGB tshwanetse e dile ka bana ba e leng gore ba tlhoka di ID, di birth certificate le di ID. And do tse gona bana ba e leng gore ko sekolong ha bana batsadi, and go find out le gore motho o ko grade 12 then tshwanetse re dile ka process ya gore a nne le ID. I thank you.
Translator.
I am, sorry, Chair. I am Tepo Mutlabani. I am Tepo Mutlabani and I support the bill. I am here on behalf of the municipality. I would like to propose that may the SGB consist of youth, and may it be youth of, maybe the youth of people who had recently finished school, not people or adults who have always been at home and not be a part of the schools, as we know the problems that we face daily and we would be able to attend to them quickly. I would also like to propose that may we have SGB officers in the school premises so that they are able to attend to the issues that we have as quickly as possible. I thank you.
Next speaker.
Ke Karabo Setlhabi. Ke dumelana le bill. Mare ke na le dingwe go ya ka ngwana o seng kgale a feditse school. Cause I get say po gona le ngwana o sa dumela o sa batleng gore a feletsa tsene ko private school or it's homeschooling. And happy, even you know, go berekisa system e one gore bereka ka gore ke homeschooling fela mo South Africa or ke private school fela mo South Africa or ke public school fela mo South Africa. Sengwe le sengwe sa gona le silo tsa mapile. Cause no yan, ha ke tshepele go nna ke tsene sekolo go teng gore mafela a mabapi. Ha ke tse ke bone Minister of Education go te utlile o go to a tlhagella. Mara mo ditoropong e o ke shoka yona go ba khone o fitla. Mara mo rona ha khone o fitla. And the school at some meeting, I get happy, I could remember Kanyore, Hakuna discipline, or a hotel Takataka. Eovias, Modi Tropon, Tontonele, Sonsa Megati. It's not like go Moma Hain, Bana, Hobibo Motokwani, Hualuiwa, Hojua Takataka. Because of Ahona, Eovias, Momuting Ahona, police station, Kalale Moods. Mare baba mo ditropong ba ka se tlhome sekolo go police station le kgakala le bona and happy ba one batho ba e puso e dumella bone DSGB go nne tlakatlakano mo sekolong ditšhelete tsa gona go sekolong go utlwa gote go na le tšhelete ya sports mara sekolo se na di grant se tshamekelo ka sports sa teng sekolo se sena grant mara tšhelete ya sports yone ga te ya tla so nna ke bona ka re dikolo tsa gona mo South Africa ke go juang go teng. Because everybody was, like one on Gargo Jolang Goting, the Chelatezaro, and Zeranahano Gidi right Tezaro. Yeah, who's here?
I am Mr. Garabo, and I would first like to say that I agree with the bill. And, however, I do have some complaints as a person who has just finished school. The first thing that I complain about is that I don't think that there is a child who wants to go to a private school or be homeschooling. Every child wants to be in an environment where he or she has their peers. So I think that there should be a standardization of schooling. There shouldn't be a private homeschooling, but everything should be standardized. And then another thing that I complain about is that I've never seen the Minister of Education with my own eyes, since I come from a rural area. But I'm sure that the minister has visited schools in the suburbs. So I wonder why they do not visit us at the rural areas. And then another thing that is of a concern is that, yes, in the school children in the rural areas do have skills, but they are not improved or harnessed because of lack of infrastructure and support. Hence, you find that in the rural schools, there's so much violence and havoc. I mean, you can consider that there's not even a police station in the rural area. You always talk about that there's a budget that's been allocated to schools, for example, for sports, but you do not see the grounds. So where do these children play? Where do they harness their skills? So it seems as if the education department, it is a den of corruption. It is where the people practice corruption and eat the money that's supposed to go to the children. Thank you.
Lebitso la ka ke Hendrik Maema Moses Kotane. Ke supporta bill. Bill e ke supportang ke e fang SGB di full powers. So ke na le ntlha fela e le lengwe fa e one fela bagolo. E ke naganang gore ka gore di SGBs ba bereka mmereko di SGB di bereka mmereko o na matsang ka mo sekolong. Go ka nna yang ge ke puso ya rona e ka ba fa stipend ka tseo ba tirirang ka mo sekolong gore le bone ba kgone go tala mo mošomong wa ba o dirang. I thank you.
Translator.
I would like to say that I support the bill. I support the bill because it gives the SGB power. And in that same breath, I would like to suggest that since the SGB does so well in schools, how about the government provide them with a stipend? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dumelang bagolo, all protocol observed from all spectrums. Obuangfa, it's Dumelo Mofokeng from Rustenburg in Ward 5. I would like to make my submission on the bill in support of the amendment which regards to Section 9. I do support the Section 9 amendments throughout as it has been stipulated. Though I do have concerns because most of the wording here is talking about critical offenses that learners are conducting, meaning that you are saying we need to wait for them to probably do a serious offense before we can expel them within our school. And this would impact on other learners that we need to also consider, who also have the right to education. We seem to have classes of over 40 learners within our public schools, yet we find disruptions from one learner or about 2 of them within a class. Now, if we have to wait for them to be suspended as the governing body, it poses a question as to how far is the serious offense that is being indicated here, because even the teachers are being traumatized to go into classes now and then because of those children that cannot be expelled from school, regardless of how bullying carries on as a campaign. All organizations have taken into task that we want to educate on bullying, and it seems like our efforts are being into vain because now the department and the parliament has decided that we will wait for a serious offense from a child to be conducted in the school before we can expel them. We are only given the opportunity to actually just dismiss them and suspend them from school activities. Then I've got another submission with regards to supporting your Section 61, specifically on the management of the learner pregnancy, because I solely believe that it is upon a girl child to be given the privilege to be in school as much as the man or the boy is having their rights to achieve whatever they want to achieve within their own careers or in schooling if the girl that's pregnant is actually impregnated by a boy in school. So I just wish that you guys can actually also impose management that will become more of beneficial to other learners that will have to sit in class with that pregnant child, because now we have parents that also come into classes to manage that pregnancy, which is also intimidating our learners at a very young age as primary school. And this is not the culture that we want to create for our kids. Especially as a parent, I would not appreciate to see my child to be in class with a pregnant child, but because it is a woman, it is a girl that we're trying to empower, we wish for a better way of managing the pregnancy within our schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Re ke leboga sebaka modula stilo Commissar, you are recognized, and the whole members of National Assembly of South Africa. Lina la me ke Petros Tsapu. I am a member of the highest command, EFF Student Command in the province, high school desk. Mine is very simple. Renali Minister wa Education, Osnam Mosola. At the end of the day, we are going to make submissions here, which must also go, because this is the portfolio committee, ya Minister, submitting ko Minister. So this time, Nereko Pabahaizu, it's something says right, because we are doing submissions. Mo province ya rona ya Bokoni Bophirima. Early January, re nnile le probleme ya dibuka gore bana mo dikolong ga ba kry dibuka. Re sa itse gore service provider ya province ke mang, a o ja tšhelete or e ja ke di principal, because it's either it's two-way route. It's either the principal di ja tšhelete or the legislature ya province e ja tšhelete, because ga tswa ko national treasury e tsana mo bone. bana ka January ba kry dibuka ba di kirile ka second month wa February, which is the delay. Number one. Re na le probleme portfolio committee ya minister gore mo dikolong tsa rona tsa bokoni bophirima precisely mo bojanala go pateliwa 150 mo dikolong ebile bana ba rekisiwa di-typeke mo dikolong ga re itse gore dikolo tsa quintile 3 tse di fiwang matlole ke puso ebile puso e ba rekela dibuka tšhelete eo e ya ko mang ge go te bana ba ntshe di 150 ebile ba reke di-typeke ga re ba tlo itse ka amendment a molao because ke nagana gore go na le province ko ba etsang molaotheo ko teng le ba go kgoba dikolo mara ga ba tsena mo ronamo ba fetoga go nna bodimo ba tloga dinaka ke nnete se nang bana ba phefo ene e nngwe gape e leng teng mo tafoleng le introduce fourth industrial revolution ene ra e rata so ga le itlisa yana le itlisa ko dikolong le fa masternet 10 di-tablete o fa ngwana e leng gore o amogela basic ya 510 ya di-grant ga tablete e thubega wa re ngwana sekolo a patele tablete e le recipient ya SASA o e patela ka because ga bereki ko ga e semo sa ko lapeng ga se moletlo ra e patela ga e busetsa ko sekolong ba re a re I'm sorry, podium.
Time up.
Okay, thank you very much, Speaker. Eske ka lebala, the 20th of March, we are taking it back to the streets.
Before translator, fighter, are you supporting? Are you not supporting? Okay. Before translator comes in to translate, I want to clarify this one point. The portfolio committee in front of you is not a portfolio committee of the minister. We don't report to the minister. She accounts here, okay? The minister accounts here. So don't make that mistake. We don't report to the minister. We are the portfolio committee of parliament. She accounts to us. All right? Another thing I want to say, because I'm going to take the last round of hands on this block. Bagaetsho, tswetswe. Re kopa dikatlanyegiso tsa lona mo billing ya BELA. Ga se mbizo. Ha re atla mbizong a kere bagolo. Re kopa dikatlanyegiso tsa lona mo billing ya BELA. Tse ding ge go na le mbizo ya masepala ya province kgotsa national le tla di bua ka mo hare ha mbizo. Ye ke public hearing ya BELA bill. Ra utlwisana kere. Thank you. Translator.
Thank you, Chair. With all protocol observed, I would like to, I would like to note that we have a Minister of Education who does not help us. We will be submitting this bill, however, it will end up in the hands of the minister. So can we please address that? I believe the chair addressed. Okay. Early this year, there was a request for books which were delivered in the second month instead. So where is the money going? Why are there delays? The other issue is the issue of having parents to pay 150, including submitting typex. Where should the parents find the money to pay this money, this 150? Also, where does the money go in schools that, in quintile 3 schools where the government gives them money? Where does that money go? Lastly, the fourth industrial revolution was introduced in schools and children were supplied with tablets. However, when children are lose or break these tablets, they are expected to pay for them, even though these children only receive grant money. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Raini Mokoka from Ward 2 in Moses Kotane. I'm also an SGB from Sidumedi Primary School. I support all that laws in the BELA bill because they will address problems amongst others. The bill seeks to improve SGB members' accountability through declarations through clause 14, enabling the head of department to investigate school financial record and limiting SGB powers. The bill enhances the management of undocumented learners to ensure such learners are assisted as per clause 4. This requirement is critical also to protect learners. The bill provides that school attendance is compulsory from grade R, which will improve learner preparation and resources support for grade R learners. I support the bill rights. Thank you.
Ka lebitso ke Tshepo Elias Pholo, ke SGB, ke ward committee member, ke supporta bill. Ke nna mo motseng ya Sefokeng in Rustenburg Ward 2 ko Chaneng. Ne ke re mo billing e ke itumeletse fela gore SGB e simolla go fiwa matla a rileng. Ke chomi ya Nasta SGB. Ne ke re ke kopa gore billi e mo gare ga yone go amentiwe gore di mine tse di fotoko ga dikolo tseo a di adopte dikolo tseo directly ka ntlha gore batho ba ba tlo tsa tšhelete mo go rona, tšhelete nngwe e ye ko metseng e le goreng ya e tlhoka.
I'm an SGB member and I would like to say that I do support the bill. I'm happy that the SGB has been given certain powers in this amendment bill. One thing that I'd like to request it is that there should be amendment that the mines that are surrounding our areas and the schools must benefit the schools because must benefit the schools directly because they are profiting from our land and they're making a lot of money. So they should give a hand and fund the schools that are in the surrounding areas of those mines. Thank you.
Ke a leboga bagolo yo buang o ke Adam Taukubo secretary ya ANC mo Moses Kotane Ward 2. I support the bill. Khanye ke tlo e buang ke khutshwane ke kopa parliament gore sekolo se ke tswang mo go sone mo ke tsalotseng ke tsene sekolo ko teng ko letlhakeng sa Kalafi High Secondary School. Principal ya go tosala tsene ka 2015. O tshwere di-certificate tsa bana yana. So please, ke kopile go kwalla kwa njimo tshega ke mo kwaletse. Ha ke botlhoke o ya go media cause e tla go nna bokete thata ka bana ba lela di-certificate tsa bona. Re mo quintile 3 mo e leng gore ga gona no fees mo sekolong. Re khupari bothata ba gago go gore 500 a e batlang ke ya di-typex, ke ya copy machine, ke ya pepe fundraising. So o di batla mo baneng bana ha ba ra teacher ha principal ba re ha bana tšhelete o gana ka di-certificate tseo ke tsere matsapa di-certificate tseo di ka 80 3 of them ya bana ba teng ba tsena hona ba nna mo dishopong ba janyao. So re kopa re ipankanyeng ba gaetso cause this thing if course tsa rona mathata ka mamo so gore ha re batisa bana ba dimmereko ba tlhoka di-certificate mo go bona di-certificate tse di tsore ke principal. So re kopa thuso mo go lona ke a leboga.
I support the bill. May I request the parliament to address the issue in the school in my area? The principal of the school has the children's certificate and refuses to give them. There are no offices in our schools, however, they require tie packs and money from children from disadvantaged backgrounds. As we have quintile 3 schools, most children cannot afford much. However, when they request certificates from the school, they refuse to give them because they owe money and they owe tie packs. May we please have these issues addressed? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm hoping that the department is listening to the final part about results being withheld. Kindly investigate and attend to that matter. Ketia, a round of hands from this block. I'm going to, there's a lot of you. Let me prioritize the major stakeholders of learning, the learners. 1, 2, and then let me come here. Also, top ready. Me. In the middle, top, black top. White hat or gay cream, yeah. Yes, me. When I wave so. Do lam fats. Ebile ka emela a ke re le bone wa emeletseng ka mo diileng a o ka emelela ebile kono tshela ka so lebelele. Let me go to the back. There's a hat there. Yes. Let me come back here. The white golfer on this side. No, not you, Daddy, not you, this side. Do we have chairs left? Yeah, no, it's done. Three minutes each. Introduce yourself, state whether you support or you do not support or you partially support the bill, and then Neditabi. Use your 3 minutes wisely. Number 1.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hitone Zidi, and I'm the sub-district president. I partially support the BELA bill, but my input concern on the bill is mainly on clause 5, the language policy, mainly for public schools. Subjects that are compulsory taught in English, e.g. mathematics, from intermediate phase and going forward. So my solution, or should I say in consideration solution, is that mathematics should be also taught in alternative languages, specifically African languages. My point is, if it's possible in foundation phase, then what makes it impossible to be implemented from intermediate and ongoing? I suggest that we should look at how many people are speaking a certain language in that particular community and try to make it a language of teaching and learning in that place. I mean, even the Bible is handed to us in different languages. So why is it so hard to do the same with the question papers and textbooks? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow learners and esteemed guests, this is one of the famous words of Nelson Mandela. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone. We are concerned as learners. We see everything inside and outside the school. But as RCL members, we have come up with some solutions. We have asked a question. We have always asked a question. What would you do if you see a learner holding a weapon? And every single time, we actually found the same reason over and over and over again. The answer was, we have to expel them. But my other question was, I asked, will the Department of Education agree with that? Because it is taking in favor of the learners. Ngwana mongwe le mongwe o tshwanetse go atlholwa ka melato ya gagwe. Ga se gore se se tlile go mo senyetsa bokamoso jwa gagwe, se se mmontsha fela gore sa se dirang se siame kapa ga sa siama. Taverns are being built near schools, and I believe that they should be 3 kilometers to 5 kilometers away from the school. We deserve to be heard because as learners, we are all here because of us. There is absolutely nothing because of us. There is actually nothing without us. We are you and we are you. You are us and we are you. And also, thank you for the opportunity you gave me to practice my right, which is freedom of speech. I'm really happy today. Thank you all.
Okay. Before you go away, hello. Before you go away, please tell us your name.
I am Piri Olrato, an RCL executive at Mukhwasi Technical Secondary School, and I partially agree with the BELA bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dumelang bagolo ba ba kokwaneng ka moolong, matona a rona ke a tlhomphang ka letsatsi la kajeko. I partially ke dumelana le bili ya rona. Na leina la ka ke Elsa Moeketsi, ke tlhaga Madibeng Court 9. Ke tlile under ECD, Early Childhood Development. Ke mme o godisang bana, ke godisitse bana ba bantsi. Ke ne ke kopa gore mo billing ya rona e re tlo amendang ka tjeko, re kopa gore le rona re le ba ECD re tshwane le ma grade R a leng ko sekolong. Re na le ma grade R mo di-creche tsa rona. Ga re kry dijo jwale ka bana ba ba leng ko sekolong ba kry-ang dijo. A re kry stationery jwale ka bana ba ba leng ko grade R ya ko sekolong. Ga ke itse gore go na le different ka gong ya grade R ya ko creche le grade R ya ko sekolong. Ne re itirela boikuelo gore re kopa gore le re tshware ya le ka ma grade R a leng ko sekolong ka gore ke mmereko wa rona gore o berekang ke mo re jang mo teng re kereyang thuso ya gore re fepe ba malapa a rona. Ka gore yalo bana ba ya sekolo ebile nna ke makaletse le bana ke kgona identify ya ngwana o mokana gore o na le ngwaga tse kae. Maloba ge ke latile o mongwe ke sala le ene for aftercare ke bone ngwana o mongwe ke ra mmae ka re ngwana o na le 4.5 o batlang ka mo sekolong a re o tsena sekolo o ira grade R. Nna ne ke itse ngwana grade R e le ngwana 5 years o tlo tenang 6 ge e nna June o fela. Yaanong bathong re kopa gore le re thuseng le ska re tsaela bana re feng bana re batla o bereka. Nna ke tlhaga sekolong ke na di level 4 le level 5 ke ile go ithutela ngwana mme ngwana o tseiwa mo matsogong aka o ya ko sekolong ba mo dumella ka gore ko sekolong ba batla rolo le rona rolo ra e tlhoka ka gore re bana ba re fa sengwenyana ra ikopela matona a rona re kopa le re thusa. Sa bobedi re na le migrants batho ba ba tswang ka kwa ba teng nna ba gaufi le mo crecheng yaka. Number 4 go tloga monna ke creche ko teng but a se creche mme wa ka mo teng o tlhokomela ba bang ba ya masimong ba o ba tlhokomela bana ba more than bo 15 bana ba le ba re tlhodia bana ba le ba lwa bana ba le ba re sokodisa ka mkhontato na le fa are ke go kaonele ka ba irela di documente ba khona o tsena di creche ka gore le rona a re ba dumelle ko di crecheng ba sena di documente re batla ba tshwere di documente so a bana tsona ba nna mo ba itiretse creche a bone ya go tlhole ba rasa motshega rotlhe ebile ba lla ba re disturb rona ba re batlang go bereka re tlhokomele bana. Ke a leboga ka mantswenyana ka a na ke latlhela boshuana ba.
Le a supporta bill kgotsanya.
I'm Miss Moeketsi, and I from Madibeng. I run an ECD, and I partially support the bill. I have one request that I would like to make. It is that, please, can the ECDs be treated the same as the schools, because we're doing the same thing. Us in crash and the schools, we are the same. I don't know what is the difference between a crash and a school. The reason why I'm saying this, it is because the schools, the ECDs in schools, they receive food, stationery, and so on, and we don't receive such. And you must remember that this is our work. This is how we put bread on the table with these children. There was one time that I identified a child, and I told them, I told those people that this child is 4.5 years old. Why are they going to school? Because they should be coming to crash to us. So I'm asking myself, how did that happen? Because a child must go to school when they are 5 years old. So now if they're doing that, that means they're taking the very source of our income from our hands, because these kids are our means of making an income. Another thing that I'd like to complain about, it is the immigrants and their lack of documents. Because nearby my crash, my ECD center, there's a lady or a person who takes care of many children in that area. Actually, it has turned to be a crash on its own, because since these children do not have documents, we cannot accept them in our crash. So now they disturb us where they're situated. They make noise, they fight, and this has an impact in my center. So the government should make means that they should get the documents so that things can run smoothly. So these are the requests that I have, but I do partially support the bill.
Next speaker.
Dumelang bagolo, yo buang yo. Dumelang bagolo, yo buang yo ke Macy Muthibedi, go tswa Moses Kotane. Councilor ya ka e le Lucky Pitso. Bagolo ga ke go nna motelele, ke rata fela ke le bolelle gore bili ke a e support. Ibile ke rata ke re ke a leboga ba ya danki ke re phambile bili phambile.
Translator. It's ma'am. Translator.
I am a Mason.
Translator the action in that. Ska translator fela.
I am Mason Mufokeng, and basically what I'd like to say is that I'm happy about this bill, and I support this bill, and I say, Pambili bill,
Dumelang bagolo, o buang fa ke Mahuma Sejang from Moses Kotane, under Councillor Lucky Pitso. I fully support the amendment bill that you guys present to us today. Concern ya ka ke security go the rural areas khulung, and lastly re kopa le re letse di dikolo tsa bana ba ba disable. Ke a leboga.
My name is Mahuma Sejang, and I fully support this bill that you have brought to us today. My concern is of having security in our rural area schools. The second concern is lack of schools for children living with disabilities. May we please have assistance regarding that? Thank you.
Let me quickly request the gentleman who spoke about the withholding of school reports or certificates. Please go to the table there so that you leave your details so that that issue can be addressed. Thank you. Next.
Thank you, Program Director. My name is Regina Molekume. I hail from Moses Kotane, although based in Rustenburg. I am a child evangelist. I've got my own NPO that is actually working with schools. I'm very passionate about working with children. And ever since the coming of COVID from 2019, I've really witnessed a lot of change of behavior among learners in schools. And what I'm focusing on right now is actually addressing the aftermath of COVID-19. I'm a teacher by profession, and I still remember back then when I coordinated SEP, Senior Secondary Intervention Program. This was within the Gauteng Department of Education. After giving our reports from our findings, I realized that the government seemed to focus more on the senior classes. And most of the children fail grade 12 because they don't have clear concept formation. Their perceptual learning lacks because they don't have resources. So could we please channel their resources to the foundation so that these children grow, being exposed to so many avenues? I've seen the amendment preamble that actually indicates that it looks at facilitating the education of children through the promotion and protection of the right to basic education. This education has to be holistic. And there's one area that I am focusing on with what I'm doing in schools. I'm not interested in high schools. I'm actually starting with children from elementary because it becomes very easy for me to measure my intervention. I heard a lot about bullying in schools, gangsterism and all those related areas. It's because children lack spiritual growth. And this is where I focus on. When children grow up being taught to have empathy, to have a feeling for others, I think this will decrease bullying because all the social media, what has been transmitted through social media, especially starting with 2021, with the young girl in Limpopo who was bullied by another young girl. That thing really destroyed my spirit. And only to look at other learners that were taking photos, videos, and like cheering the bully. And this has become a trend in most of our schools. We're seeing a lot of suicidal deaths, escalating. And we cannot just sit back and fold our arms. So I so encourage our department really to focus more on the foundation and looking at the holistic development of the child. Children have got the right to food. Children have got the right to safety. But children need to be given the right to spiritual growth, to make a choice that they want to grow spiritually as well, to ensure that they become better people in our future. And finally, I need to encourage our communities to take ownership of schools. There are villages where the community around the school is very much conscious of what the needs are within those kind of schools. And it's only when we open our eyes as a community that we can truly say that it takes the community to raise a child. I cannot pass by when children are fighting. I cannot pass by when a child is crying. I need to intervene. Thank you. And I support the bill.
Next.
Ke a dumedisa bagolo, o buang fa ke Lerato Sebogo from Moses Kotane municipality. I partially support the bill. The reasons why I partially support the bill, ke gore there are some of the things tse leng gore di a leka ko sekolong or dikolo di na le probleme le tsone. I would love and wish for Department of Education to work or start working with other departments actively. So, departments like social development, so that they can work hand in hand, but thusane ka bana. Another thing is sports bagolo. Sports ga se tlhole se le teng ko dikolong. Re bona bana ile di drop outs, bana ba ja nyaope because ga se bana ba botlhe ba ileng gore ba ga se bana ba botlhe ba ileng gore ba grabs ka go tshwana ko sekolong. So bana ba bangwe ba feletsa ba drop out because they cannot cope. But if sports se ka boela gape ko dikolong go ka nna betere for bana bao. Another thing e ke kopang ke gore art and culture it's a West serious ko dikolong because bone bana ba ba sokolang bao ba ileng gore ba dropa out ba feletsa ba dirisa nyao ba feletsa le di criminals, they can benefit from this subject ko dikolong. Ke a leboga bagolo.
Iketle pele mama, re ba translate pele.
I am Lerato Sebogo and I support the bill, but there are some things that are lacking in schools. So it's a matter of priority that the schools start to work with hand in hand with other departments like social development and such. We have a lot of school dropouts, and it is because all children are not the same. Some they cannot cope, but I think that if we bring sports back into their schools and they return to schools, that can help with this issue. Also, if we can bring back arts and culture, such as dropouts will not incur because the children now, when they drop out, they start using drugs such as nyaupe. But if we have sports, arts and culture, that could curb the issue of school dropouts. Thank you.
Bagaetsho bagolo ba ka ba botlhe tafole e ke itlotlang ena le batho ba botlhe ba ba tlileng fana ke a leboga go be ke le fa nna fa mme thata ke tlo go lebogela councilor wa ka wa Moses Kotane Ward 2 e le re Sipho Kalipa le speakera sa ka se se leng fana mme Gugu Mtjali ba ba irileng gore re tle fa re itse ge nke be se ka boneng ke be re sa itse yana ke a ba leboga thata nna ke Susan Dikganyane go tswa ko Sesobe go motseng o le wa Pitsidisulang kwa Kgosimaotwe. So ke rata gore nkare are ekiti bikinyana moa wa ntate Tefo Makganye re ne re o gopola mo thutong gonne e ne ile ene o na re sikere ka fa gona no bana ba tshentshile re maketse ba botlhe re le batsadi santla ke rata go bua ke re ka ko metseng ele a rona ile transport bana ba ba tswang kwa Ramotlhaju ba tsaya ba fara Mokgolela ebe ba tsaya ba Sesobe ebe ba ya go sekolong sa Pitsidisulang sa Redif transport le re ifile ke a leboga but khalema gore transport bana ba seke ba nna matsetse a mararo a mane ba sa e sekolong go te di robegile mare puso re file di transport is really unfair so kwa se a ke se itse mare ke tlo se roba a kere ke tela khalema ba gaetso safety ya bana mo dikolong bana gone yano fela go ba se ba re tshayana ka gore sekolo se se tona se le ke sone sa ga Rete for Makganye ba se ba tshentshile dia ira yana o ke teletsenya le itlhwano bana ba itaola le manala ba tsenya mare Rete for na khalema ne re mo tshepa re le batsadi le go magosi ya ka tja go transport I mean to say so say sa bobedi go Sesobe grade R morutabana o le wa sokola ba gaitshole ke a kopa o ruta di grade R and grade o ruta di class 2 ali one ene ali motho o na ba gaetsho go gore ga re itse re ka re ralla ke a ena tha ke fitisa mmela e kwana ba gaetsho ha gona morutabana wa grade R I mean to see ga ayo morutabana wa grade R on go itselwa ga ke tsong ka ilo yang gwa tsiwa fa ngwana tla o thuse fa wa grade 9 10 ngwana tla o thuse fa wa ya no ke a kopa ba moruta bana o sa ba lo ithaopa ko sekolong sele dingwaga a ko apo ba lebelle matitšhere le dikolo gore ba ruta bana ba ba ntseng ba ithaopile ba ithaopile fela ba ba lebelle pele ga ba hira especially yang ga go ke go tliniwa mo dijareteng tsa dikolo di toilet moruta bana ga se gore tšhelete ga go te moruta bana ga go te 8,000 ena ithaopile batsadi ba mo fa 2,000 o itatlhela mo one 8,000 yaanong lebellang pele ba ruta bana ba ba ithaopile le ba lebelle le botse ko apo gore ke ba ke dikolo tse e be le ba hira ka gore ba ruta bana ba se bana le sosi ke a le kopa ba gaetso ene khalemelang bana ba re le batsadi na wa se ward committee dingwaga le police forum leng ke berekile ka bana thana yaanong ke a ko khalemang bana ba se ka ba ira ditoitoi ga ba ntshiwa ke batsadi go te ya
mami nako e fedile re a leboga translator Mama, le a supporta kgotsa nnyaa? Le a supporta? Atamela mo mic-eng, atamela fa. Mic ona mo no eme teng. Le a supporta?
Ke a support.
All right. Re a leboga.
My name is Me Susan, and I would like to thank you all today. I would like to thank our mayor from Moses Kotane, who made sure that we come today so that our concerns may be heard. I have 4 issues that I would like to highlight. The first issue is that of transport in our areas. Transport is not regular, as some days our children get absent from school because there is no transport. May transport be regulated so that our children can go to school every day. The second point is safety in schools. Recently, discipline has been changed, and as a result, there is no safety in our schools. The third point is that in a particular school in my area, there is a teacher who teaches 2 grade art classes, and this teacher needs assistance. May we highlight or note that may teachers who show dedication receive more assistance and receive more monies than the teachers who do not show dedication. Lastly, may I suggest or request that we please reprimand our children. Thank you.
Ke a le dumedisa bagolo baka. Leina la ka ke Kgomotso Seoke. Ke tswa ka for Moses Kotane, Ward 32, ke Ward Committee, ke motsadi wa ngwana wa sekolo se se fomorleng mo motseng o bana ba rona ba leng ka mo tlase ga go tlhoka tshireletso. Ke supporta bill. Ha ke supporta ka mabaka a security ke so sa ntlha se re se kopang gore nne le sona ka re itemogela gore bana ba rona mo di-primary ke bana ba sentseng ba le bannyane thata sona segolo thata mo metseng magaeng. Environment ya bana ba rona mo ba tsenang sekolo teng segolo thata ka sona sekolo se sa Mamitwa se le gore bana ba rona tota ga dipula dina bagolo le ka serati. Ke letso ka re ya ka ganke be re bua yana e be re le ko sekolong se le mo groundong ya teng le kgona go bona gore ga re kopa dithuso tse re di tlhokang re bua ka eng. Ke be ke bua gape le ka performance ya bana ba sekolo ba gaetsho ma teacher a rona tlo re tlogela ka ntlha ya gore tshireletso ga yo mo dikolong tsa rona. Ke se ke se kopang re na le di high school e lona e tlhokang gore security bana ba rona ba peipa metekwane ba jwala metekwane ka mogare ga dikolo mo le gore go tlhokega gore go nne le security di taverns tse di mo dithoko ga dikolo di shop tse di rekisa mo thoko ga dikolo le tsona di tselo di kgato go nne le molao wa gore dilo tse di ntsenyana di ska di afeletsa di nna teng le gore ga bana ba ya dikolong re felletsa go nna le molao wa gore go emiswe ka medumo e tshwana le medumo ya go letsa dithabene tse di nang gaufi le dikolo gore bana ba rona ba tletla ba rutega ke yona thuto re e batlang gore bana ba rona ba nne teng e nne le sedi mo setšhabeng re se ka ra phalwa ke merafe e mengwe bana ba bona ba leng botlhale ka ntlha gore bona ba emelela ga go thweng a re kopane rona ga re tshwanetse gore re kopane ga re kgone go kopana bagolo ba ka ke rata ke re ke kopa gore le ska la re latlhela matsogo ga re se re se buang se ka sa felela fa le re eteleng kwa metsesega le tlo go bona ke a leboga.
I am Ms. Khomotso Sekgote, a parent of a school-going child. First of all, yes, I do support the bill, but I'd like to raise a few concerns. Number one is relating to security. Primary school children are very young, so they need to have security personnel in their schools so that they could feel protected. There was an incident of a break-in in my child's school, and so due to lack of security, now when we ask for help, please come and see our why we lament and ask for security in the school premises. Number two is in relation to the environment, because when it is raining, The school's infrastructure, it is not well off because if you go to that area, it is not pleasant, more so when there is heavy downpours. Number 3 is in relation to the performance of the learners. The learners are not performing well, and I have the fear that one day the teachers will eventually quit teaching because these children are not performing well in class. Another thing that is of concern for me is security, more so in the high schools. These children need to have security personnel, but above that, the taverns and shops that are near schools, they should be considered and looked upon, because if there are taverns that are nearby high school, you know, they tend to have music that is been made with high volume. So now the children cannot perform, and they cannot be able to listen in class. Hence, their performance is hindered. So we want our children to be as bright as our white counterparts, but we need to work together. We need you to listen to us and to come together with us so that we could help these children to have a better future.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Lindiwe Mguni. I'm under Ward 33 in Moses Kontane, under Ward Councillor Lucky Pizzo. I would like to thank you for this opportunity. I would like to air my problem. I'm an ECD, early childhood developer at a preschool level. I run a daycare at Unit 8 in Muhwasi. So the problem we are facing as educators is that we are not registered. They are saying we are non-compliant. The reason being we are operating from our premises. So we would like to pledge with the department to air our views, and can they register us as full compliance, because they are depriving the kids their right. Because some kids, those who are complying, they are getting ECD funds, as we are not getting anything. So can they please at least meet us halfway, because we don't have space to build creches. So can at least they give us time to build, but can they register us and make us compliant so that the kids can get their rights, because it's their right to have those funds. So I'd like to thank you. I know my councillor, my highly esteemed councillor, Lucky, is going to look into it. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Let me greet you all. This is Tsulumu Khaswa from Unit 8 under Councillor Lucky Pizzo. I agree with the bill, but I'm having a concern. May you please, and I'm lucky to have you all, may you please, Unit 8 is growing. If maybe, with my plea, may you please build a primary school for the kids, because we had an incident while the rain is, we are having an incident while it's raining. The kids have drawn. And then maybe if you can, this can be considered, it will be my pleasure. And another thing, governing bodies could be considered because they are doing great jobs at the schools. I thank you all.
Ke a le dumedisa bagolo lotlhe, motshwara marapo, le kemedi yotlhe o nna le yona. Ke le dumedisa ka lebitso le le maatla la Morena Jesu. Yo buang ona ke Mzwandile George Chobeka, Moses Kotane, mo tlase ga Ward Councillor Tebogo Msiputi. I'm the Ward Committee mo villaging ya Velferdine. I'm fully support the BELA bill. Se senyane fela se ke tla se tlogelang. Di buitse di buileng pele di buile tsotlhe go tlala seatla. Ga ke fokotse, ga ke oketse fela ke a tlhalosa mabapi le sekolo sa Velferdine bagolo. ko rural area, ko magaeng, ko bo Los Mecheri, ko bo Goedehoop, ko bo Rampampa, bana ba rona ba banyanenyana puso e re file transporto ke lebaka la ka la pelele ke se kopang ke kopa tswetswe transporto ya Belferdine ga iyo bagolo gore di ratse yang ga re itse dikolo tse dingwe di na le transport mare sa Belferdine sekolo ga sena transport sa bobedi sekolo sa Belferdine bagolo ke problem ya infrastructure re bua ka grade 1 ka bana le grade R le grade 1 ya Belferdine bana ba teng ba ba ntsi classnyana e nyane ba kopane mo plekeng e 1 so re kopa thuso ka kago bagolo ya bana ba banyane le re kopele le mo di mining ditle thuso sekolo se le gape bagolo ga se na tshireletso security go le fifi mabone ga yo mo sekolong seo bana ba rona dijo tse ba di fiwang ke puso magodu le barukhutlhi ba thuba ba utswe tsona dijo tseo tsa bana case di bulwe go felle gore le tu go sena sepe se se diragalang se re se kopang re kopa security re kopa mabone go sekolong sa Belferdine re kopa transporto ya bana ba ba yang dikolong dipula diana bana ba tsamaya ka maoto go ya distance of 5 kilometers kopo tswetswe ka go rialo ke a leboga.
Greetings all. My name is Mzwandile from Moses Kotani. I would like to say I support the bill and I agree with all the speakers that have already spoken. I would just like to add a few points. The school in the rural areas called Fairfieldine lacks 3 things. The first thing is transport. We are aware that the government has provided transport. However, in our school, there is no transport. May we please have transport? The second point is infrastructure. We are talking about very young children who go to the school. However, the infrastructure in that school is not conducive for such young children. May we please have assistance in fixing the infrastructure of our school? The third issue is security. There is no security in our school. It is dark. There are no lights. And as a result, food that is provided to us by the government becomes stolen because there is lack of security. May we please have assistance in this regard in our school? Thank you.
My name is Sipo Muhango. I would like to pass my greetings and thanks to the chairperson of the Basic Education Portfolio and the whole honorable members of the portfolio. Thank you to Mr. Program Director for the opportunity. I would also like to thank my speaker from Moses Kotana Municipality, Mrs. Gugule Tu Mchali, and then my councillor from Ward 35, Mr. Lucky Pito. I checked my point and I realized that all these points are being addressed. But I would like to emphasize on the issue of safety and security. Let me say I support the bill. Safety and security of the learners and educators, I suggest if it can be taken as a priority. Why I'm saying this is because you will find that there is a security personnel at the gate doing all the search, doing all the access control, but the drugs are going through the fence. You don't know how did the drugs got into the fence, or the guns, the weapons are getting through the fences. So I suggest if maybe it's possible to build a higher guard room on each and every corner of the school so that the security personnel can be on that guard room and then can have a view of the fence so that they can see what is going on through the fence to check if the drugs can go through the fence or whatever weapon that can be brought into the school. Because at the gate, it's just waste of time. They just go there, they don't have nothing, and then the weapons comes through the fence. So the option, I think, is a higher guard room. And then still on the safety and security, I'm coming to the health and safety of the water that children are drinking. We know that we have a problem of water in South Africa, but I applaud the Department of Education for bringing JoJo tanks at the schools. What I'm suggesting is the machinery that can purify the water that are drinkable for the kids, because kids get sick now and then. They have a running stomach because of the unhealthy water that they are drinking from those JoJo tanks. So if the machines can be implemented on those JoJo tanks so that the kids can get safe and drinkable water. Infrastructure, they have already touched on it. Stationery. We are getting a free stationery at the schools, but I realized that we also getting a list of some equipment that we have to buy as parents, and then most of the parents are not affording those things, because most of the stationery that we are receiving are not being used. They suggest us we have to buy other materials. So. Okay, I thank you.
Thank you. We are done taking hands. I'm going to take this session back to the chair to deal with the last part of the program.
Thank you so much, Program Director Waruna. Today kusetyenziwe. I'm sure amaqabane kaThamba ya complainer. Adiniwe. Are you still fine? Must we still proceed? Must we still proceed? As long as the public wants to speak, we are obliged to listen to him. Yeah, Bo, you stopped people. You stopped them. You stopped them. They want us now. They want us now. No, we are here for public hearings. And if there are hands that wants to speak, hands must be allowed to speak. No. Must we close? Okay. Then we are closing. All right. Majority rules. Honorable Nodala, can we ask you to do a vote of thanks as we are?
Thank you so much, Chair. We would just like to send our thank you to all the people of Rustenburg in the Northwest for participating in this BELA bill and giving us very useful inputs about your views on what needs to be done regarding the law and also what we need to do to improve our education in our schools. We have listened to your submissions. We will take all these submissions back to Parliament to make sure that we ventilate the issues that you've raised with us. I know some of you came to the podium and asked, are we going to be listened to? That is our responsibility as your public representatives, to listen to the submissions that you've made to us today. And those submissions have been noted by the staff members that work with us in Parliament. I'm sure the department in the province was also listening, as well as the Department of Basic Education nationally, to some of the issues that you have raised. So thank you so much, Realebuha. I hope all of you traveled back home safely, and we appreciate all of the submissions that you've made today. Thank you so much, Chair.
No, thank you very much, Siyabonga. Siyabonga, thank you so much.